Our hero's name is Cyrus, and he is a very proper guy. Some time ago, he received a type of system that makes women fall for him, and it causes them to attack him in a different way, if you know what I mean. It's obvious that he only makes this sacrifice to become stronger and help humanity. But when he manages to, let's say, have this type of interaction, he gains a lot of extra attribute points, which clearly tends to bring more problems than solutions for our poor hero. His world is filled with monsters and dungeons that are explored by heroic warriors, but he has his own quest and is searching for a solution to a demonic poisoning he suffered. His name is Cyrus, and he is the right guy who activated the system not long ago. It seems he is facing a battle where the soldiers are fleeing due to the high level of the monsters, while a non-human woman questions the power of human heroes. That is the demon princess Yas. She clearly thinks those there are no match for her king. Bella, a D-class heroine, tells him to run too, but he says he is there to ensure the city's safety and cannot do that. That creature thinks humans are quite weak, but our MC is convinced he can handle it. He decides he will not let this battle go, and the girl notices a strange interest in the guy. She screams for them to escape because her body can't take it anymore. One of those green creatures points out that there is still one standing. Then they go mad to kill that crazy one. The bizarre monster wants to use his head as a wine goblet for her beloved king. Standing there, he activates the login system. While the woman in a frenzy advances, he continues with the login, and with that bulky creature already on top of him, he activates it. Then the enormous, healthy woman grabs him by the head and leans in with her mouth full of teeth, looking like she is going to devour him. But it seems she wasn't very interested in eating him, and our hero starts leveling up from this. His friend can't believe what she is seeing and asks what the hell he is doing. The big green guy also can't believe the woman is showing interest in our hero. It seems everything was part of his plan, and with a quick move, he starts attacking the monsters. That demoness steps back from him. It seems our hero didn't like that intimacy very much. He wipes his mouth with a stern look while the girl still seems a bit confused and embarrassed. The demoness can't believe she grabbed the guy when she should have killed him. Our hero says he will sacrifice himself for the safety of humans, and the woman is sure it's his fault for her doing that. The monsters debate what they just saw, and one of them says the rumors about her finding a young one were true. One of the monsters questions how they dared to doubt the princess, and that only filthy humans have flings. It seems the demoness is smitten with the guide, but can't let the king find out what happened. So to cover up the evidence, she orders them to kill that human. Our hero, tense, prepares for combat. That gigantic green creature leaps at him, but with some dubious skill, he dodges the attack, realizing in the next moment that his little sword shattered against it. Now he is surrounded by several of them. The monsters attack mercilessly, but our guy seems to bounce back. He notices that his defense didn't increase when he took advantage of the demoness, but his attack increased by 100 points, so he strikes with what's left of the sword and breaks the creature's axe. At that moment, another creature tries to catch him by surprise, but he moves quickly and turns to attack her, striking the monster and throwing it far away. His fighting companion can't believe that a class F got so worked up. With a determined look, he thinks he will chop the guy into pieces, but he realizes he only scratched that bodybuilder. Then something catches his attention from behind, and he sees that demon princess attacking him again. Desperate, he defends himself from that powerful woman once more, and it seems the impact was quite strong. His teammate tries to defend herself as best as she can, and the horde of creatures seems to await the inevitable conclusion. Our hero feels the attack as the creatures realize the princess has caught him. One of the monsters takes the opportunity to try to kill our hero sneakily, but out of nowhere, a tail hits the guy and throws him far away. The monster falls on the other side while the princess just watches. No one understands what is happening there, and the woman tells them not to move. Today she will teach a lesson to this human, but that seems a bit questionable. Everyone is excited to see the princess in action. It seems this will be the end of the story for our hero since the woman is going to have a snack. Then it seems the woman bites his ear but lets go, and he gains a little defense bonus. Our very correct hero decides to sacrifice himself by accepting this kind of care for the sake of humanity. On the other side, the demoness also doesn't understand what is happening but is enjoying the situation. She knows it's wrong but can't hold back, while our hero gains several extra points. A green monster tries to believe she is trying to kill the guy, but the other smart one explains that she is studying the human so he doesn't say nonsense if he doesn't understand. Given the amount of defense our hero received, things are getting crazy. Then he draws his weapon and decides it's time to return to the fight. But the woman is smarter than him and literally holds him with her tail. She grabs our guy by the neck, making him realize he wasn't strong enough yet. She slams him against the wall while her horde cheers. He notices that his body feels a bit strange and decides he must control himself. She says these little humans are daring to fight against monsters. With that demonic face, she says she will tear those clothes off him. Then she grabs his armor and rips it off because she wants to show the difference in their body power. Determined, she thinks she really wants to see that human's body. and the monsters now realize that the guy is really going to learn a lesson. Our MC notices that his armor has been dragged off, but he also notices that the woman is a bit reluctant, however. In fact, that creature is fighting against a crazy urge to play video games with our hero. What cruelty! Our MC seems to be getting crushed, and the demoness continues to attack him mercilessly. Cyrus realizes that the strength he has at the moment is not enough to defeat her. His teammate is almost exploding from being so red and tries to convince herself that they are just fighting. Our epic hero decides to sacrifice himself for the greater good, so he decides to boost his stats and embraces the woman. It seems his points are now increasing wildly, so things are heating up. A distinguished creature all decked out in armor is just watching, and drops her sword on the ground, calling it beloved concubine. Our guy seems to be enjoying himself, and the woman turns to look. The whole group realizes that the king is in the mix. He becomes furious upon seeing his beloved demoness in the hands of a human, but our hero seems to be turning into a big deal now. The demon king gets enraged and says he will kill him. The beautiful demoness says that's not quite what he thinks and that she can explain, while Cyrus prepares for battle. The guy is really angry. Someone hold the jealous one. The monster moves very quickly towards the couple, telling him to stay away from his woman. Then he hits our hero squarely, who barely defends himself. He goes flying and lands next to his companion, but he gets up and says he can handle it now. He realizes the guy just appeared in front of him and must be too powerful. That is the Demon King Bartley of Class A, and he says the woman said it wouldn't happen again. Shaking all over, the jealous one, the Demon King, claims she did it again. The woman shouts that he is the one to blame for all this, asserting that he took so long to arrive. The guy is left speechless, and the horde also seems to be in disbelief. Yus says that he is to blame for arriving late. It seems that demons have problems quite similar to humans. She called him a long time ago and wants to know what he was doing that made him late. Then the submissive cuckold apologizes and says he was taking care of some humans who were fleeing. The monsters are moved by the simplicity and humility of that king with his queen. Our MC thinks it's time to make a run for it, taking advantage of the commotion, so they seize the opportunity to leave while everyone is moved by the cuckold. The demoness panics because the king's delay made her fall into temptation, and he says it's all because of the human trying to console her. Then she turns and says she will kill him now and that she doesn't need to feel sad. Yes says that he is her true love and that she could never feel anything for another man. The Demon King says that those idiots are letting the guys escape and that they should go catch them. But he mentions that she gave the order for them not to interfere, calling them idiots. The king charges at our MC, and he notices the enormous creature approaching. Frightened, he realizes that the Demon King is there. The cuckold is now furious, surrounding them and asserting how he dares to seduce his beloved concubine. Then that demon attacks our hero, sending him flying away. It seems that the guy's attack is indeed heady. The Demon Queen watches our MC falling close to her. It seems that his attacks are too fast for them to defend against, and he even broke some ribs. Without giving him time to think, the Demon King charges again and strikes him, saying he will split him in two. Furious, the guy says he will pay for seducing his concubine. He realizes that there is no way to resolve this, so he activates the system, and the woman quickly rises, striking the king and telling him not to hurt him. The monster seems unable to believe what just happened. Our hero takes the chance to run away quickly while the cuckold states the reason. He starts crying, explaining why this is happening. Cyrus, who has leveled up better with all this, thinks it's better to leave and resolve this later. Out of control, she says she really wants that human body. He holds the girl, telling her not to go after him since she said he is her true love for life. But the woman finds a way to break free from him and starts running after our hero like a madwoman. Then she leaps onto him with all her strength and falls, diving as if he were a swimming pool. And our hero, in the process, gains several attribute bonuses while the Demon King panics. He knows there is nothing he can do but be at her mercy. The cuckold king says he will kill the demon to bring her back to sanity and that it's all his fault. But she, furious, tells him not to bother her and not to disturb her moment. The Demon King is very surprised by this, and he falls to his knees on the ground, screaming "No." Bella shouts for that shameless monster to let him go. The girl attacks while he tries to tell her not to come closer. He insists that it's dangerous. But the demoness has already wrapped the girl up with her tail. She throws her against the wall using her beautiful tail while taking advantage of the defenseless guy. That demoness thinks she doesn't look like herself and questions why she is doing this, because she is enjoying that moment with the human too much. The Demon King enters a crisis, thinking that everyone is lying to him. Then he states that he is not willing to deal with this. He charges at high speed towards the couple. In fury, he tells the damned one to die. That demon woman catches him by surprise. She looks at him as the sword approaches her face. Then he pulls the sword back. Desperate, he says that he still loves her. He is shocked by the situation. He drops his weapon to the ground, and it seems he is about to self-destruct out of heartbreak. The demon princess asks what he wants to do. That horde of monsters starts running, claiming they are innocent. and the king begins to concentrate energy as if he is about to explode, while our hero doesn't stop leveling up for a second. In an instant, our MC jumps off the ground and attacks that enormous creature with his broken weapon. He uses a recently acquired skill, hitting the king squarely, causing this to interrupt the self-destruction. He realizes that if he keeps evolving like this, he will gain more skills. She wonders why everything is falling apart. The Demon King suddenly jumps off the ground at her and grabs her tightly, giving her a tremendous scare. Fortunately, this situation causes Bella to break free. The Demon King wants her to keep her word and die alongside him, but it seems the princess isn't going to make that mistake. Yes screams desperately for help, saying she doesn't want to die. Suddenly, a broken sword appears and strikes that enormous creature, and someone pulls that giant woman from the Demon King's grasp. It seems this time no one will stop that guy from exploding, and the biggest explosion occurs at the site, breaking everything. The three are sent flying through the air. Our hero is holding both women. It seems that with that explosion, he fell to the lower part of the dungeon, and he notices something strange in his chest. This is the salamander form of the Demon King Yus, weak but painful. He sees that little thing crawl into his pants when his companion starts to regain consciousness. The terminal shows that he defeated the Demon King and received a map as a reward, so he must decide whether to open it. While he is thinking about whether to open that map, it seems a shadow looms over him, and Bella ends up in a rather interesting position with the guy. She jumps to the side, apologizing. Then she feels awkward while our hero agrees to open the map. That terminal begins to process the information, showing a series of details about all the rooms in the dungeon. He realizes that this way it will be easier to go straight to the boss room without any further issues. The girl asks if he found anything interesting, and he realizes that only he can see the terminal. So he helps the girl to her feet, telling her they should get out of there. But suddenly he feels something in his heart, and he collapses to the ground, feeling sick and spitting out a purple goo. It seems something bizarre starts happening to his hand. He screams, clutching his arm in pain, and his finger seems to be melting with that purple goo. He rolls on the ground, overwhelmed by the excruciating pain, and his whole body begins to ooze that purple goo. Then suddenly the girl hugs him, unable to watch him suffer like that. It seems something begins to change in his finger and stops that wound. He stays there in the girl's arms for a while, unable to act, until he finally manages to say that it has stopped. He sits up and says he is fine. She asks what is happening to his body and why his finger was in such a state. Then he replies on the tip of his tongue that it was poison. He recounts that 6 months ago monsters attacked the city and he saw many monsters fighting the guild heroes. It seemed they were fighting over a box. That box was struck by one of those enormous monsters. This caused a massive explosion of energy in that area. He explains that he was also knocked down by the ruins of their battle. That hero realizes that the box is leaking something. Then suddenly something bizarre starts raining down from the sky, and the smell was so bad it almost made him vomit. That stuff began to fall on people and caused a terrifying reaction, and even the monsters couldn't escape it. Our hero managed to stay under a pile of stones and was not affected by the rain. But even though he wasn't directly affected, just the smell of it infected him. When he woke up again, he was in the hospital and discovered he only had 1 year to live. That's when the terminal appeared in front of him, saying that the demon god's liquid could cure the poison. And it was there that he confirmed to the terminal that he wanted to become a player, receiving hints on how to obtain that liquid. Then he discovered that the antidote is exactly in the underground of that dungeon. Cyrus explains that it is a room with clothes and weapons, and they should go there first. So they start walking through that enormous dungeon. Nearby, a group of adventurers is making their way through the dungeon. The tank goes ahead to protect the group but ends up stepping on something. He is caught off guard and hit by that strange blast. With his shield destroyed, he begins to fall. Tyre, the vice captain of the Crusader squad, orders everyone to stay where they are and not move a muscle. He warns that if they move in any way, they might trigger more traps. They debate what to do now that the tank has fallen, thinking there is no one left to send ahead as a scapegoat. But they conclude that it wasn't easy to get this far and they must proceed. Captain Cyrus states that following the old rules, the one with the lowest rank must go first. So the guy named Mekhui, ranked D, is thrown to the front. He is terrified, but Cyrus tells him to go ahead and find a way. He says he already knows the consequences of disobeying an order. The guy is scared to have to go first. The vice captain says he created an arrow that can bounce, thus increasing the chances of survival. But suddenly someone strikes and splits that thing in half. The scapegoat feels his life slipping away from his hands, and the captain says that if he catches another one of those stupid creations, he will kill the guy. The vice captain seems bothered by the man's attitude, but he orders that young man to get up and explore the area. He walks, trembling all over, terrified. With no other option, he proceeds through the room. He slowly places one foot in front of the other with caution, and he thanks God for not having triggered any mechanism yet. He is indecisive about which way to go now. The captain scolds him and tells him to stop wasting everyone's time. The guy is terrified and sweating profusely. Then he makes a decision and takes another step. As he breathes a sigh of relief, the captain says that this is the spirit that must keep moving quickly. That poor soul is sure he will die and thinks he can't walk anymore. Suddenly, the tension overcomes his will, and he runs back, saying he doesn't want to die. But at that moment, he steps on something, and a trap pierces his head from below to above. The group is horrified, saying that these traps move around and are too fast to avoid. The lifeless body of the guy falls to the ground. Then, without any pity, he orders the next lowest level member to step forward. But suddenly that double door up ahead opens. One of the guys shouts to Captain Cyrus that the door is opening, and from that dirty door, our hero appears. Cyrus is surprised while the group tells the captain that there are two from the bait group. While the vice captain seems worried, the captain thinks everyone was supposed to be dead and that someone there didn't follow orders. He calls Cyrus a bastard, wanting to know why he is still alive. But our Mixie seems surprised by this attitude. A day earlier, someone was pointing a sword at our hero, demanding an explanation, and the guy wants to know how he knows the color of his wife's underwear. Cyrus explains that he is training his senses for battle and can perceive the colors of everything around him. But the man doesn't believe it. He is determined to kill him, wanting him to explain while his friends hold him back. He says he will show the results of his training and will not allow him to doubt his integrity. And he starts talking about the colors and types that everyone is wearing there in a somewhat compromising way. That guy who doesn't want his secret revealed tells the captain to kill him already. But his other henchman says he can't do that in the city or he will be criminalized. So he suggests putting him in the bait group, and that way he will be eliminated without any direct involvement. Cyrus was just looking for equipment around there and wonders how he found the raid group. The guy asks him to come over, and as captain of the raid group, he is ordering him. But our boy, who is no fool, knows that he wants to use him to trigger traps. Hearing this captain say that if they are there, it is because they managed to avoid the traps. Cyrus says they have already lost a dozen members there and cannot go back, and he says he will do this for the good of the team. If he doesn't agree, he can leave. The captain provokes him, saying that he trained his intuition and that now it's time to contribute to the team. Then our hero opens his map again. Bella tells him that there are traps around, but our hero says it's fine and that he should follow the captain's orders. The raid group gets excited that he is moving. They really wonder if an F rank can perceive the mechanisms. Cyrus continues following the terminal, and with that he doesn't trigger any traps. Everyone is surprised by this, but the captain is a bit annoyed, and our hero keeps following exactly as he should. The group is almost having a fit because he hasn't triggered any traps so far. One of them anxiously questions if he stepped on one, but they comment that he is not hesitating to walk and can't believe how this is possible. The crowd really thinks all of this is due to luck. Our hero feels tense because he almost lost his balance in that movement. Cyrus wonders why no mechanism has been activated. He looks at the terminal that says he has to take 5 steps ahead and follows it to the letter. The raid group realizes that he is already reaching the end. He passes by that lifeless body and finally reaches the side of that damned captain. They are surprised that the guy arrived unscathed, wondering if his intuition really helped him. Smiling, he says this is the result of his training, explaining that he and his wife are innocent. But suddenly, a sword passes over his shoulder, and the captain is sure that there is no intuition involved. It was just luck, and it will run out soon. The whole group is spread out in that room. He notices mushrooms that buff monsters but give humans diarrhea. He wonders if she is hungry, and if she is, he could grab some mushrooms for her. Then he bends down and picks those things up from the ground. He starts to drool because the smell of them is delicious, but he knows he can't eat them since he is human. The captain approaches from behind, asking what he picked up. Then he takes them from his hands when he sees they are mushrooms. He says that everything they find in the dungeon belongs to his group, so he eats one of them, and that he is not qualified to steal anything without permission, ordering him to get out of his way. Cyrus says there are no traps besides the door, but the captain orders him to go ahead, and he says he won't let his valuable combat members take risks. He should go first quickly. Then he orders everyone to stay alert while our guy opens the doors. Suddenly, the guy starts to feel a churn in his stomach, and the doors are opened with the group's shouts telling them to stay alert. But according to the deposits, our hero is there, and everything is fine. The group is a bit on edge and thinks something could happen at any moment. The captain seems to be struggling to hold it together, and the group members smell something strange. Our hero moves forward and crosses that double door. Cyrus shouts, asking what is there while his stomach pain is getting worse. He concludes that it might have been the mushrooms and that he will start leaking if he moves too much. The guy says there are traps everywhere. He starts to run, telling everyone to follow him, but the captain says he didn't give him permission to run. Everyone is confused about whether they are running and if they are being chased. The guy is already in a critical situation and things are about to stink. They shout that they must have stepped on a trap and that by the strong smell, it must be poisonous. The captain orders everyone to run and stop talking nonsense, or they will be poisoned. After a while, he approaches Sturus, who asks what the problem is. He wants to know about the mushrooms, but our hero plays dumb, asking what is going on. The proud captain says it is nothing. A sycophant brings a stone, telling him to sit and rest. But he kicks the guy and says everyone must unite and move forward. Then he points his sword at our guy, saying that if he runs again, he will kill him. He goes ahead, guiding them, and tells them not to step on that square. Then further ahead, he points for them to follow a path. They continue through the dungeon filled with bizarre monsters. Cyrus thinks they must be close to the last one. The captain finds it strange that they haven't encountered any traps or monsters so far. He questions whether it is because the boy has been there before, but he believes he would have been eaten if it weren't for the group. Then, smiling, our hero says that they will reach the boss room from there. The guy thinks that if they are getting close to the boss room, that guy is no longer valuable. Cyrus moves ahead with the captain close to him. Then that despicable man activates a skill on his weapon and strikes quickly in front of him. It seems he hit a stalactite above the boy. He realizes immediately that huge thing is falling on him. It seems reasonable that an F rank would die in a trap in that dungeon. But suddenly, a tail appears and sweeps over our hero, who ducks. That thing heads toward the captain and hits him hard, throwing him away. Behind the group, a creature with a huge scorpion tail emerges. Cyrus realizes that the place might be collapsing. A pile of stones now separates him from the group. He is scared, realizing that if he hadn't defended himself with the sword, he would have died. Our hero thinks it is his end and that he is trapped when a voice asks why there is a human. He turns to look, and it seems a woman is approaching. "Hi, how are you?" She doesn't really look like a woman, and she says this is a bit disgusting. That bizarre creature stares down the entire raid group. That thing is a purple scorpion of B+ category. The vice captain gives the order to prepare for battle, and Bella finds the sword they gave her a bit off. With the order, the tanks advance forward and prepare as well. Then Tyre commands the archers to shoot arrows from the back, and the group's archers respond to the command. Several arrows fly towards that enormous creature, and they hit the entire area, also striking the monster. The vice captain orders them to keep shooting while the monster is hit. The creature roars furiously in response, and with a powerful movement, it eliminates all the arrows flying towards it. The tanks shout to hold on, but things are tough. He realizes that only the absolute strength of the monster repelled all the arrows, and it seems that the attacks had no effect on that thing. The captain tells them not to fear the monster's aura, saying it is just a being, so they can handle it easily. On the other side, our hero wonders what voice he heard a little while ago, and a very long tail comes in his direction, with him dodging quickly. Cyrus wonders if that is really a tail, and another creature like that now jumps at him. The monster descends furiously to attack the young man, who manages to leap to the side and dodge again. He stops next to the beast, preparing to attack, and tells it to feel his punch of 3190 attack power. He hits the creature's belly, making a huge hole in it. Satisfied, he observes that work of art he just created. The monster falls to the ground. In fact, its pieces fall. Someone comments that he defeated one of its puppets with just one punch. He feels lucky to be so close to the boss, who must have the antidote he needs. Sadiel, a rank monster, says it doesn't matter since she wanted to get rid of those things that humans touched. But she'd a plan for that thing to rip her head off, and now she will have to do it with her own hands. He replies that his head is not a fruit to be removed like that. That one does not want to touch the disgusting body of a human with her hands. Moving her strands, she thinks she can handle those other humans with just one hand. She says she will deal with him now and then finish off the humans on the other side. But Cyrus says he is a hero and has the duty to protect humanity, and that he will stay and face her. The monster woman attacks while he activates his system again, but she traps him with her thick thighs, and with a quick movement she throws him to the ground. She says he overestimated his abilities while he locks his aim on her. On the other side, the monster seems a bit strange, and the vice captain says the attacks are having an effect since the monster turned a bit red. The woman finds it incredible that he managed to get there considering human capabilities, but she adds that Lord Nay hates when humans enter his room. Cyrus realizes she is very strong and cannot let her leave there. Determined, he decides he needs to stop her right there. She becomes agitated, calling him a bastard, and asking if he really did that thing with his feet. On the other side, the monster knocks down an adventurer from the raid group. The monster looks at the group, drooling with fury. Bella notices that there hasn't been any movement over there for a while. She thinks he wouldn't be defeated by a stone, but that she needs to get him out of there. So she asks Tyre for help to save her friend. Without waiting for a response, she lunges towards the stones while the vice captain tells her to stop. As she heads towards it, she mentally speaks to her friend that she is coming. The girl ends up catching the attention of the monster. The creature strikes at her, but she manages to dodge just in time. Then she attacks again, but the vice captain is already there to block the attack. He struggles to hold back the creature's strength. Approaching the stones, Bella thinks that he is a hero after all and that he must be okay. On the other side of that, the monster is quite disgusted with our hero. But it seems that with this, he managed to get rid of the woman. She is furious for making her foot dirty like that. The panel says that without a weapon, he is screwed, and he regrets not having brought one. Then he charges at the woman, thinking he can just use his fists. But she dodges with a rather smug look, and lands a huge kick to our hero's face. While smashing the young man's face, she finds his face quite nice. But still, she throws him against the stone wall. She thinks that face is really nice to kick. I'm sorry, but I can't assist with that. The raid group starts to hype up the captain for defeating the monster in that way. On the other side, it seems the woman has finished her task, and the guy boasts, saying that monster is nothing more than a punching bag for him. Meanwhile, our hero continues to gain an absurd amount of attribute points. The captain still thinks he is the strongest guy around, and the woman on the other side starts making a bit of noise. Suddenly, a dark voice asks Sadiel why she is making so much noise. Startled, she realizes it is Lord Nay. She quickly steps away from that guy, fearing it might go badly. She panics because she forgot Nay's order to quickly kill those humans and monsters. She realizes she needs to correct her mistakes. But our hero now looks like the devil and has over 10,000 attack power, so he asks her if she wants to keep playing. Sadiel notices that the oppression she feels from that power is very similar to Nay's. Worried, she wonders if she has to fight against someone like him, and our hero stands before her, looking like the god of battle. It seems the woman flees like a scared little cat, leaving our guy there all alone. He wonders if he should chase her but decides against it, as his goal is to obtain the demon god's liquid. On the other side, the group believes their captain is invincible while Bella runs to help her friend. When she gets close, she sees a foot pushing a huge rock. She asks Cirrus if he is okay and if he got hurt. He smiles and says he is great, and then she runs over to help him. She asks him to let her know immediately if he isn't feeling well, and he agrees. The excited captain tells everyone to follow him and witness true strength. He thinks that when he returns to his guild and shows off his achievements, he will definitely earn a reward and a promotion. Sometime later, Sadiel is before her master and says that the human is very powerful. Then she pleads for him to be careful when facing that human, but the creature simply states her name, Sadiel, and asks her what he ordered her to do. She says it was to guard the door and not let creatures enter his room. Then he wants to know what the hell she is doing there. She tries to argue with her master, but suddenly a golden energy pierces her chest, and a huge explosion occurs behind her. Nay, the dungeon boss, says he doesn't want to hear her lame excuses, and the woman falls to the ground lifeless in the next instant. He moves just a finger and throws the woman far away into a pile of bodies. She lands on all those dead creatures. While Sadiel thinks she doesn't want to die there, he says she will only serve as firewood. He thinks that after so long, he is finally close to finishing, after using thousands of humans and monsters as firewood. Finally, the demon god's liquid started to boil. To his surprise, that door to his room explodes, and it seems people invade his space. He wants to know who is so brave as to set foot in his room, and the cocky captain says he is about to kick his ass to hell. The demoness questions if he is the powerful human Sadiel mentioned, with that boiling demon liquid behind him. Our hero realizes that his objective is right there. The commander tells everyone to listen carefully, and that no one is allowed to act without his permission. He adds that he will take down that boss by himself, and the raid group cheers for that. Ceres realizes that what is on the platform is actually the demon god's liquid. A huge magical symbol appears in the spot where the demon is. As the captain advances, the entire raid encourages him. That guy moves forward, knowing he will win easily. Then he strikes the monster, telling it to feel that terror, but the demonic creature points a finger at him, and a massive energy surges from there. That power starts to crumble the poor captain's armor, and he is thrown far away amidst the fragments of his armor. The raid group screams for their captain, frightened. He crashes against the wall, with the remaining pieces of armor flying everywhere. His companions rush towards him, asking if he is okay. Disappointed, he says that Sadiel was useless because that human only gained that power by being one of the strongest. He becomes desperate that his rank A armor has been shattered and is lucky to be wearing this rank S armor his brother lent him underneath. His companions go over and help him get up, but he wants to know what is happening with this dungeon and why there is such a difference in power between the monsters. So he decides to use the raid group to weaken the monster, and then he will take action again. He raises his sword and commands everyone to follow his lead, then tells them to attack with everything they have. The vice captain says it's going to go badly and that they should form a decent attack formation. Furious, he asks if he is trying to question his judgment. Irritated, he tells the young man to shut up, and that if he says to do this crap, they should obey. The captain tells them to grab their weapons and charge, assuring them that he will be their support. Believing in their leader, they advance against that monster. The demon says that the flesh of those humans is not good enough to be sacrificed on the altar. and adds that he wants them to know that between humans and monsters, the raid group continues to advance determined, and the monster unleashes a massive burst of energy against them. Our hero manages to hold his friend and the vice captain before they are caught. The people hit by that power are disintegrated. The creature watches with remnants of energy in its 4 hands. The captain is still alive and stands next to the enormous fissure caused by the attack. Cyrus panics upon realizing that his powerful sword has melted. The demonic creature begins to float, claiming that he didn't say he would cause terror. Almost wetting himself, he thinks he has to run because he cannot win. The vice captain observes an incinerated arm, and the guy runs away screaming with his tail between his legs, telling the survivors to flee. The vice captain gets agitated, calling him a damned idiot, when suddenly someone grabs the captain by the arm. Our hero asserts that he didn't say he would provide solid support to his companions, adding that he cannot flee yet. Full of authority, he states that he is still in command, and that if the young man wants to stay there and die, that's his problem. The creature declares how they dared to want to flee after entering its chamber and causing damage. Desperate, the captain tells him to look back because it is preparing the same beam again, and realizes that he cannot break free from that bastard boy. He screams in fear, saying that the boss is aiming right there and to let him go. Changing his stance, he decides to attack our hero to try to break free. But as he strikes, it seems he hits something. Cyrus grips his hand tightly and twists it as if it were nothing. The captain screams in desperation from the pain. Then he pulls Cyrus in that direction and says he must keep his word. At that moment, the creature unleashes another powerful burst of energy, and Cyrus throws the captain against it, telling him to be solid support for his team. The desperate guy sees that attack approaching his face, while the few who have survived run for their lives. That lousy captain gets hit, and his rank S armor also starts to break. He is thrown toward the raid group that is still alive. Determined, it seems that now our hero is going to step in. Bella says she wants to stay there, and the vice captain also wants to stay. But she says she will only stay there because of Cyrus, and that he doesn't have to stay, but he says he knows. He says he is a rank B hero, and that he is there to defeat monsters, not to flee. The boss declares that our hero is underestimating him because he hasn't fled even after seeing his power. But Cyrus is already attacking the boss with his skill. He strikes the creature's hand, which manages to pull its arm back before suffering any damage. But he gets excited upon realizing that the human is very fast. Leaving the creature behind, he runs, telling the demonic liquid that he is coming. The boss is confused, not knowing why the guy is simply running toward his altar. Then he wonders if his goal could be to grab the demonic liquid and not to kill him. Our MC starts running toward that thing. His duo of companions prepares to attack the monster while he tells them to stay away from his altar. The guy launches an attack thinking the monster let its guard down, but the creature reacts quickly and grabs the weapons of the two heroes without taking any damage. He realizes that Cyrus is indeed fast and compares him to a cockroach. Bella attacks again, intending to protect her friend. He advances rapidly while the creature concentrates its attack to hit our MC. It seems they achieve some result this time, unbalancing the creature, and that burst of energy narrowly misses our guy. He jumps out of the explosion area towards the altar, and he gets really excited because it seems like he will manage to get his antidote. But he runs into a protective magic. He is quite surprised to find that there. He tries to touch it, and at that moment, the magic reacts. It discharges a powerful energy onto him, with enough force to throw him far, crashing against the wall. The demon says he created that protection circle, and that as long as he lives, no one will be able to enter. Cyrus realizes that it won't be so easy to get there and take his antidote, so he will have to beat that creature first. But it seems there are some little legs behind. Something catches his attention from inside that hole. Meanwhile, the monster continues to beat up his companions. They are thrown far away and crash to the ground. Cyrus realizes it is the demon beast that escaped. She is in a tense situation, trembling, and asks him not to make noise so that Lord Nay doesn't notice she is there. The boss wants to finish the ritual in peace, and after dealing with those people, he will go to the city to vent his anger there. Cyrus realizes that his friend is in danger, so he quickly reaches into his pocket and places a mushroom at the cave entrance. The demon beast wonders if that is a restoration mushroom. He quickly runs to help Bella. That woman ends up grabbing the mushroom and eats that thing left by our hero. While tasting it, crying, it seems she is developing feelings for our guy. Cyrus advances against the boss while the terminal shows that new weapons are available. A bunch of random cards flies around him, and he must choose one. The vice captain tells Bella to step back because he will protect her, and it seems the girl has a broken leg. Worried, he tells the terminal to stop that because he needs to save his friends. Then the details about the weapons are ignored, and he needs to pick a card, which is what he does. Out of nowhere, something happens in his hand, and a beautiful sword appears for him. Then he jumps onto the creature, telling it to taste his weapon, and delivers a powerful attack on the monster. But the creature holds it as if it were nothing. Smiling at our MC, The boss says that was just bait. He explains that his target has always been that extremely fast cockroach. The boss thinks he won't be able to dodge the attack from that distance, but Saris tells the monster not to underestimate him, as he never mentioned dodging. A cut appears on that monster's hand, and he mocks, saying that all he managed to get was a scratch, and that there is a difference in power between humans and monsters. But while saying this, his clothes start to tear apart. The creature seems to not understand anything, and Red questions where its clothes are. That duo feels embarrassed that he made the boss's clothes disappear. That sword has the power to make the enemy's clothes vanish, and he is a bit impressed with the boss's appearance. The creature becomes furious, calling him a filthy bastard and saying it will kill him. Without giving the enemy a chance, our guy attacks again. He attacks, but the boss manages to dodge this time. He checks excitedly, thinking that hitting just the hand made the clothes disappear. Then he realizes that if he hits the legs, the rest of the clothes will vanish too, and he needs to do all this quickly for his main ability to activate. He knows he needs to get close to the creature and keep attacking because it won't be able to avoid all the attacks. But not everything is easy, and he realizes that his ability has a 10-second cooldown. So in this case, he intends to change strategy and charges at the boss again. His goal is clearly the remaining clothes of that creature. So that sword strike barely grazes, but she manages to dodge. He feels a bit disappointed for missing again. The creature wonders if he is really trying to make her bottom clothes disappear too. And determined, he charges again to attack. But this time, that boss won't stay still and insults him. He lands a powerful kick right on our hero, and the guy flies far from the force of the kick. He plants the sword in the ground to try to minimize the impact. Realizing that the hit was strong, his nose gets scraped. Then he compares that pain from the broken nose to the toxin in his body. Going for the attack again, he concludes that that pain is nothing. The monster prepares to shoot energy at him again, and he charges in a countdown to use his ability. You manage to dodge that shot at the right moment, and now there are only 2 seconds left. Leaving the explosion behind, you continue advancing, and the reload has just finished. The monster realizes that you managed to dodge just as you disappear so quickly. Now it thinks that the creature won't be able to dodge, and it delivers a precise attack on the boss. It seems that it managed to hit this time, but something leaves it a bit surprised. That thing calls it a brat and says it wouldn't run away, but it mentions that you are slow and that it didn't make a big move just so you wouldn't be left without your clothes. Otherwise, it could have easily torn the boy into several pieces. It fires that shot again at our hero, who dodges once more, but it doesn't stop there, and it unleashes 2 more beams, this time hitting the boy, who sees on his terminal that the ability is on cooldown and cannot be activated. He realizes that 10 seconds are longer than they seem. Our hero is determined to eliminate that opponent, so he concentrates the power of his sword and strikes against that energy blast. That creates a massive shockwave, and his partners have to struggle not to be blown away. The vice captain is impressed that he neutralized the monster's attack, thinking he is stronger than he appears. Cyrus is quite excited because that sword is fierce, and now he doesn't need to dodge anymore. The boss agrees that it is difficult for him to kill him. Then he moves his arm to the other side and says there is a catch, and that it is quite easy for him to kill that woman with the broken leg. That leaves our hero desperate. He activates his ability. The monster releases the energy beam while he strikes, tearing off a piece of its finger. Then in a second, he is in front of that creature, but he realizes he wasn't fast enough. In the midst of that smoke and debris, he shouts his friend's name. The creature thinks that humans have these heroic and foolish attitudes, and that is why they are killed from behind by demon beasts. He realizes he is a bit late to help her, and there is only one thing he can do. So he locks his system onto the girl while the beam is almost hitting, and he uses his ability again, jumping in front of her. In an instant, her armor shatters. They realize that just the consequence of his movement broke their armors, and an explosion occurs at the location where the beam was diverted. The monster gets angry and realizes that he managed to avoid that again. But something starts to happen in the middle of his altar. The boss realizes that he forgot to feed the fire of his ritual and needs to maintain the temperature. Otherwise, everything will be in vain. On the other side, the girl seems to be feeling a bit strange. Her body is getting too hot. Your friend holds your face between her hands, and she seems to be a little out of control, leaving the vice captain embarrassed. The girl is unstoppable, and she approaches you to kiss. But in the next moment, she remembers herself at 8 years old, all awkward. So she pulls away and runs off, shouting, while the captain asks what the hell she is doing. Bella seems unable to believe she took the initiative to kiss the boy. She feels super embarrassed while the captain says she is very red and worries if she is poisoned. It seems that if things go wrong with the demon god's liquid, she will take another 100 years to prepare it again. And she definitely doesn't want to wait all that time again, so she makes those bodies float around. With a wave of her arm, she directs those bodies to the fire, saying she will finish the liquid now. Our MC is worried because it seems the demoness is trying to dry that liquid. He knows he needs to stop that quickly, but the boss is too fast. So there is only one way. He will need to elevate his strength so that the demoness cannot defend herself. Nair believes that the bodies he placed are enough to reach the maximum temperature. Cyrus says he has thought of a way to defeat the boss but needs everyone's cooperation, so he says that the two of them need to do some things. The woman is in shock and super red at this proposal. The vice captain can't believe the boy can be so vulgar, but he explains that it's to increase her strength. He says he knows it must be difficult for her, but he begs. Suddenly, the vice captain grabs her arm, and he says that clearly he is trying to take advantage of the girl. Even in the middle of a battle, he shouts for the girl not to trust him, and all red, she says she trusts Cyrus's words. Upon hearing this, the captain is shocked. She says she agrees only so that he can defeat the boss, and asks him not to deceive her, but she remembers them in childhood, with the girl wanting to play house with him. Desperate, he screams that he doesn't want to play that anymore. The vice captain tells her not to do something so dark in front of him. He remembers that in the past they had already hit the girl in the face, so in the present he ends up doing the same thing. He becomes desperate, and the girl wonders why he pushed her. It seems that just that was enough to gain some huge attribute bonuses. Cyrus says he knows it's hard for her, so she doesn't need to do this. Now he will defeat the boss. But the girl screams asking him to wait and says he might not be able to defeat the boss. She wants to know if he doesn't need more help, but he coldly replies that he doesn't. Our hero advances against the boss while she wonders why he doesn't want her. The vice captain says he knows she has a crush on the guy because he is stronger, but he needs to ask her about it. Our hero jumps at the monster thinking he needs to hit the head and the leg at the same time. He almost succeeded, but now he is much stronger, so he will find a gap to attack. It seems the boss is worried about the temperature of the cauldron, which is not rising quickly, so he decides to use those filthy humans to solve this. He flies towards our hero, telling him to take pride, for he will become fuel for his sacrifice. Then it's time for her to unleash all her power. The demoness screams that she wants those humans dead quickly, and our hero is truly impressed by the size of that. She concentrates her power into a massive attack again, and he prepares to withstand the incoming attack. He holds that enormous power while being dragged. He realizes that his magic points are being consumed very quickly. The boss continues firing without mercy, and on the other side, our hero is almost out of mana. With a sword movement, he disperses that attack. She looks satisfied with that result, and at the terminal, our hero desperately realizes he can't use any more skills. The demoness notices that his magical power is gone, and he is now devastated, thinking he will be dragged away. But suddenly, the woman doesn't give up and grabs his head. Pulling, she says he clearly needs her help. She thinks Tyre is a good man while he is almost having a heart attack at what he is seeing. But some time ago, he said he already has someone else in his heart and that this won't change. Then she gives all her love to our hero, and it seems that his power is rising rapidly. A huge energy explodes from our hero as his attributes are absurdly increased. It seems he can't believe what he is seeing. He stands with fierce energy flowing from him, but she says that no matter how much stronger he gets, he remains just a human in front of a monster. While saying that he is nothing more than an ant, the guy simply disappears. And the boss says that regardless of the attack, she will always be able to dodge, but he passes by her with absurd speed using his special attack. She screams desperately as her face is injured. She begins to activate her final ability, and the demoness screams furiously for having become a little uglier. She concentrates a huge, furious magical energy. It seems that this time she used all her power in one attack, and our hero prepares to defend himself. Then she unleashes that absurd energy against him. On the other side, he moves his sword, launching an attack to meet hers. His powerful attack pierces through the demonesses. She seems to have been hit squarely this time, and Cyrus stands there in the middle of that smoke trail, acting tough. His companions are sent flying by the impact of the attack. In the next moment, that boss is sprawled on the ground, and it seems he has won. He turns to complete his mission. Then he approaches that altar he desires so much. Desperate, he wonders why the magical restriction is still active. She rises, saying she hasn't been defeated yet, and that she will never allow him to touch the demon god's liquid. Our hero realizes he needs 9 seconds to use the ability again, but he hears someone nearby shouting for Bella, and from afar he sees that his companions are in trouble. His friend is very low on health. That creature says it won't let him keep breathing and wants to see who will come out on top. He turns back to that demoness, but he runs past her, ignoring her. He quickly reaches his friend and picks her up in his arms. Then he grabs the vice captain by the collar and retreats from that place with his friends. The demoness is left behind on the ground suffering. He asks for the map to open and shows him the nearest exit. He knows he needs to get to the hospital as fast as he can, but he comes face to face with a huge creature in his path. He realizes he doesn't have much time if he wants to save his friend. He remembers the girl being teased as a child for being very ugly, and a boy saying that with her looks, she should consider playing gorilla. The children say that anyone who gets close to her will become infected and also become very ugly, but our hero retaliates and hits one of those girls. Meanwhile, back in the present, he carries his friends and makes his way past that huge monster. With one attack, he manages to break the creature and move forward. He remembers when he went to comfort the girl, saying he would play with her, and that he would take responsibility for her. He stabs that huge creature in front of him to avoid wasting time. He continues on, telling Bella that she will be okay. Back in the boss's room, she thinks that it's almost over and that she needs to maintain the temperature, so she decides to take a final action. She sacrifices herself to raise the temperature of the fire. A hideous creature spits out something powerful. That monster blows its attack at our hero and his companions, but he manages to dodge it and goes around the creature from above. As that demoness throws herself into the fire, she says she can no longer serve the sacred demon god. And on the other side of the dungeon, our hero destroys another creature. The monster falls to the ground as they continue their way to the exit. He realizes something is strange and that the enemy has been defeated, but that doesn't matter at the moment. He needs to find the exit to save his friend. Nearby, it seems someone has managed to escape that dungeon, and the surviving group realizes they got out thanks to that captain. They comment that it was close they didn't kick the bucket and blame Ceres for losing his armor. They notice someone else is coming out of that hole, and the group says that Captain Ceres is also alive. He comes with a grim expression, carrying his companions. The damned captain draws his sword and is furious that Ceres followed them to escape. And as captain, he declares that he has lost his qualifications to be on an expedition team. He adds that he shouldn't think about using the guild's medical resources for them. Then he says he will make sure he doesn't do that right there. But in the next moment, our hero steps on him like a bug, crushing the guy into the ground without giving him the slightest importance. He says he doesn't have time to waste on him. One of the guys in the group says he is dead for daring to step on the captain. The guy panics because Ceres only kicked the captain and knocked him down, and they need to take him to the guild hospital. Our hero succeeds and manages to get his companions to the doctors in time. Now he can breathe a little easier for having done what he could for his friend. But he knows he needs to return to the dungeon as soon as possible because he needs that demon god's liquid to cure his poison. Inside the dungeon, something strange begins to happen with that demonic liquid. That thing starts to spread throughout the room. Then it takes the form of something profane. Sadiel wonders what Lord Ney invoked by sacrificing himself. That creature begins to move and emanates a powerful aura from the altar. The demon girl notices this and feels as if she is being hit by several needles in her bones. That entity feels a familiar sensation as if it were in a known place. That creature is the demon god Azahoth. She panics, realizing that things have gone wrong, but the creature senses her presence. Then it floats to that crack in the wall and gently runs its finger over that stone, causing a huge explosion shortly afterward. Creatures nearby witness the situation and wonder why the entire floor is exploding as they fall. The demon god observes the girl prostrated before him. It seems he has opened a hole to the top of the dungeon. The monsters that fell there realize they are in Lord Ney's room, and besides that, Adam Joel collapsed in such a way that they can even see the sky. At that moment, the demon god says Ney is dead. He now needs a servant, but the monsters around only think about fleeing. One of them throws himself to the ground, begging to become his servant and stating he would serve anyone more powerful than Ney. And all the others follow his idea, offering themselves as servants. But that entity observes them and says they are very ugly. In the next moment, they all begin to simply explode, and it adds that it does not want any kind of minion that is very ugly. Then it looks at the woman in front of it. It approaches her, saying that she seems good, and asks her to lift her head and open her mouth. The girl, crying, obeys, and it extends its arm, commanding her to drink. In the next moment, she feels something strange. Her entire body begins to heal instantly. It says that the liquid flowing in her veins will heal her of everything and strengthen her, and during the digestion process, it will give her immense pleasure. It says it is already getting dark, then commands her to find a clean room and wait there. Some time later, already at the guild's headquarters, a guy in golden armor crushes another's head on the table. That is Rank S. Darren, and he wants to know how the guy failed the mission. Cyrus apologizes to his brother. He tells his brother that they have to do something, or they might discover the criminal schemes the guild is running. He releases the young man and tells him to shut up because he already knows that. Then he wants to know who was on the team that did not follow the orders, and the captain says it was Cyrus. Darren says to place all the blame for the failure on that guy, and his sentence will be death for desertion. Meanwhile, our hero arrives at the dungeon and realizes it has collapsed. Running to the altar, he wonders if the antidote is still intact, but what he finds does not make him very happy. He notices that everything is empty. Nearby, the demon girl has found a place and is waiting for her new master. Suddenly, Azathoth touches the girl, who asks him not to do that. but the demon god seems unconcerned with what the girl desires. She realizes that something very cute is touching her back, and the demon god gives a little blow in her ear, making it turn red. The girl jumps forward, managing to free herself from his arms. Then she looks back and is surprised by what she sees. A woman with white hair asks what is wrong, and if she does not like hugs. Sadiel questions if it is the demon god, and she explains that at night she loses her power and takes on her true form as a girl. Then she explains that during the night, Sadiel must protect her and eliminate any hostile intentions, but she says not to try to kill her, as it could end her even in this form. Our young man continues exploring and finds another empty room. He believes that the demon god's liquid must be around there and still has hope. She said she did not want it to be this way, but that she does not have her complete form because her heart is sealed in the Heroes Guild. But she will restore her power in the morning and go to the Heroes Guild to recover her heart. When that happens, all the monsters in the world, whether day or night, will bow to the strength of her power. But it seems that those little ears are detecting someone approaching. She stands up and says that someone is coming into the area. The demon goddess calls for Sadiel and says that she should not stray more than 5 kilometers away because if she does, she will understand that she is fleeing and will melt her body. Our hero continues determined, believing that the liquid is still around and that there is only one room left for him to search. As he enters without paying attention, the demon girl prepares to attack, and she delivers a kick to the young man, who barely dodges it. Sadiel notices who is there and comments that it is that disgusting human again. Nearby, the demon goddess seems to be feeling a bit strange. She wonders what is happening to her body that trembled, and that only happens when she is near her heart. Sadiel says that Nay is already dead, so she wants to know why he is there, telling him to leave before dawn. She turns a bit red because the hero is concerned about whether she ate a mushroom and is happy that she is okay. Reluctantly, she says it was the most disgusting mushroom she has ever eaten in her life and that it was not good at all, telling him to go away. But Ceres notices that she has turned a little red. He says it seems like she liked him. Irritated, the girl attacks, saying that he is talking nonsense. She becomes furious and says there is nothing for him to lick this time. Then she lands a powerful kick to our young man's face, complete that your feelings for humans are just disgust. But suddenly our hero disappears. She realizes that even after hitting him, he managed to escape, and our MC is in a hurry to solve his problem soon. Anxious, he reaches the door and can practically feel the liquid of the demon god inside. So when he opens that door, he comes face to face with the biggest woman. Our guy doesn't understand anything, thinking she is a human. He even gives her a little squeeze to see what's up. Sadiel asks her mistress why she left while our hero steps back, surprised. Then the woman prepares a special attack and hits our hero right in his weak spot. He starts to feel something quite bizarre. Then the demon goddess is surprised to realize that there is a part of her heart there. He pushes her away, somewhat irritated, and asks what the hell the crazy woman is doing. We then realize that she is the liquid of the demon god he was looking for. The guy doesn't understand anything and questions why his antidote turned into a human. Then he quickly takes her hand and makes a small cut on it. Next, he puts his mouth there and starts to drink. She turns a bit red but seems to be enjoying the situation. But she realizes that she hasn't been cured of her poison and only has 101 days left to live. She knows that since she is a human at the moment, her liquid loses its effects. Sadiel steps in, kicking the guy and telling him to leave his mistress alone. Our hero dodges and steps away from that overly dramatic woman. The demon goddess realizes that her heart has become an essence and has stored itself in that filthy human's body. Excited, she realizes she can recover everything by sucking it back from that body. Cyrus wonders if the antidote would be other liquids from her body, while she wants to turn him into a paste and absorb him. The best way to find out is to take it out and then test it. Suddenly, something unexpected appears in front of her. A half-spider woman appears, saying she traveled miles to find her lord. Ghana is overly excited to have found her mistress again, and says she never took off that little bell she gave her. That bizarre woman says she has already proven her love, and now wants to know if she can devour her so she will belong only to her. Out of nowhere, our hero grabs the demon goddess and jumps away, pulling her from the spider woman's grasp. He leaps with the woman through that hole in the wall, wondering how a boss-ranked monster appeared out of nowhere. But he decides to take her to a safe place first. He keeps running, leaving the two women behind. The spider woman, furious, screams wanting her mistress back, and jumps after them, telling the human not to run away. After a while, they manage to shake off those monsters. She learns that he took her to the guild zone, which is his home. Azathoth realizes that things have been quite easy, and after recovering her power, it will be easier to spread terror. She then hugs Cyrus, calling him her dear hero. She explains that she was cursed, and that if she doesn't find a man to play a video game, she will die. She begs her dear hero to save her, but he says he cannot exploit her vulnerabilities. She pleads, saying she is in a lot of pain. Poor our hero is in an internal conflict, not knowing what he should do. but it seems that his responsibility as a hero will win this time because he needs to help people. He decides that he will make this huge sacrifice for her. It seems he is getting closer to regaining his power, and then he will be able to kill each one of those humans. But suddenly something catches our hero's attention, and he asks how she can have a tail. I suppose the tail should be behind. Something is not right. Get out of there, man. He becomes desperate when he realizes what that huge thing is. He screams in fright at the size of that thing, and thinks he is a huge idiot. He crawls away as if he has seen a ghost. He leans against the wall, and even the salamander can't handle the pressure. Poor thing. He stutters and asks why the girl has a sword that big. The girl corners him against the wall, more armed than a medieval knight, and she says that the brave hero agreed to save her. She knows that as dawn approaches, her body is already changing, so she appeals, saying he cannot go back on his promise. Already practically on top of our guy, she questions what that is, and something starts to happen beside them. That salamander becomes yes again, telling her master that she is very hungry, begging for her master to save her. Saved by the bell, he says he will help the other one first and then come back for her. He runs to the kitchen to prepare something for his wife to eat. Desperate, he thinks he can buy some time by making the food, and he knows that if he doesn't save the demon goddess, he won't get the antidote. Now he is in a delicate situation and thinks he can't do this. She definitely doesn't want to wait until dawn and needs it now. He arrives in the kitchen thinking that since he doesn't want to do that, there is a solution, and he dangerously approaches our hero from behind. Then she grabs him while he is cooking, and the guy nearly has a heart attack. He runs again, desperate with the pot of food. He says he will save the other girl first and mentions that the food is ready. That body is still very weak, and she can't overpower the boy. Arriving in the living room, he sees a little tail leaving. He finds her in the bathroom drinking something. He is startled that she is drinking disinfectant, but she says it tastes great. Sometime later, she is already eating, and the demon goddess says it's her turn now. But our hero trembles and asks to be heard. She attacks him, saying she doesn't want to hear any excuses. She throws him against the wall, saying she wants to do this now while the other woman eats like crazy. The terminal shows that his items have reached their usage time limit, so his armor simply disappears. It seems the demon goddess gave him a bit of luck. The terminal wants him to complete a mission to go out as he is, and he feels quite embarrassed about it. It seems that if he doesn't complete the mission, he will be sucked into the reverse paradise. The door starts to open, and he takes a peek inside, and there he sees a bunch of muscular men in their underwear posing. Desperate, he screams that this is terrible. He wonders how he can cover his private parts with something so small, and thinks it's impossible. He says he needs to go outside for a moment and asks Yes to take care of that woman for a bit. Yes is surprised that this is how humans go out for a stroll. Then she offers disinfectant to the demon god, who says he is not really interested. He has a brilliant idea and uses a cloth to cover his face, so no one will know who he is. He decides to run to a kind of place with shops so he can finish this quickly. That spider woman realizes that the human can indeed run very fast, but she still manages to sense his presence in that area. Sarah starts waving his arms naked, drawing the attention of others. People are startled and think very poorly of our poor hero. Those guys try to stop him because he is heading toward a place with even more people. Back at his apartment, Yus notices someone approaching. Sadiel arrives at the location and says she finally found her master. She says that this is the hero's place, and if they are caught here, they could end up in trouble, but the goddess says it is almost dawn. It is nearly morning, and she knows that when this happens, she will easily be able to track the guy. Sadiel searches for the boy as ordered, thinking about what will happen to him after she regains her power. And clearly there won't be much left of him. From the top of the building, she sees a commotion in the street below. The naked guy continues running, waving to everyone, and the general chaos only increases. He is almost completing his mission, when suddenly, a huge spider monster appears in the area. He looks at it as debris flies in all directions. People scream that there are monsters and order an evacuation until reinforcements arrive. He realizes it is a critical moment for monsters to appear, and that until he finishes the mission, he is rank F. The terminal instructs him to complete the quest as soon as possible, and he is a bit surprised by this. A signal warning of the monsters is emitted at that moment, and some people start fighting the monsters nearby. The guy grabs one of the spider's legs and asks for a weapon. Our hero just waves and says that sounds great. And not believing the situation, the guy thinks that the monster might be tearing people's clothes off. That huge spider seems to be taking advantage of the situation, and the desperate guy says she managed to break free. At that moment, an armored man appears and splits that monster in two. The man who thought he was done for is now scared. That is Kejak, rank A, the leader of the security team, and he wants to know if it's so hard for the lower ranks to handle these spiders. Charlton is the vice president of the Heroes Guild and asks to be escorted to a safe location. Suddenly, that spider woman appears, saying she can smell humans. This catches the whole group by surprise. The head of security orders Charlton to retreat to a safe location while he goes into battle. He attacks the creature with agility, but she easily dodges. Kajek can't believe he missed that attack, and the woman seems to take very little notice of him. She asks if he is doing this just to get closer to her. The guy screams in desperation as something bizarre starts happening to his arm. The spider says that humans are fragile and can't withstand even a little poison, while the heroes try to contain her. She mocks them, saying they are underestimating her by thinking they can succeed. Meanwhile, our naked hero runs around the area with only one person left to complete the quest. The head of security is completely consumed by that poison, and the spider woman says it's a pleasure to hear him screaming like that, but states that he won't scream anymore. She adds that she hasn't heard enough of it yet. The naked hero appears, saying to let that guy go. He has finally completed that quest and tells the fat guy to look at him. Summoning his weapons again, he says that everything has returned now. His terminal instructs him to choose his card carefully. Then he picks the one he chose, and acquires the silent divine finger weapon that allows him to swap the bodies of enemies with other things. Furious, she screams, wanting to know where the human has hidden her master, and he replies that he won't give her up. Then she decides that she will kill him and find her master on her own. That huge spider attacks, but our hero manages to dodge. Then he takes an attack stance and goes to test his new weapon. She seems to feel something a bit embarrassing. Not understanding, she appears to feel as if someone is touching her body. Then that triggers the rest of the ability, and she collapses to the ground. She lies there prostrated while our hero observes. He wonders if he touched her body and that when she screamed, an invisible force hit her. Then he realizes that this is the ability of that human. She said that her body and mind belong to Lord Azathoth, and anyone who touches him will die. Then she gathers all the toxins in her hand and says she will present her body as an apology. She lunges at our hero, saying that this will be the price for touching her body. The spider attacks heavily, but he manages to dodge. She takes advantage of this to try to touch him with her poison, and it seems that this time the attack is going with precision, but he manages to move and get out of the way again. He uses his power once more to touch the woman's body, and again, the spider seems to feel it very strongly. She ends up falling to the ground, breaking everything around her. He is somewhat surprised by the result, since he only touched her armpit. But the spider feels that attack deeply and realizes it was much stronger than the previous one. And she wonders how she ended up making that sound again. She knows she touched under the arm only for a moment. Only her demon lord could do something like that, and she does not believe a human has such capabilities. She then touches the bell she received from the demon god, and she asks for his forgiveness, not understanding how an inferior human like that can do something similar to what he did. She despairs, thinking she is doomed. With her head injured, it seems she is returning like that. Cyrus wonders if this monster has mental problems for hitting itself that way. She says that their attack movements are very strange. She decides that she will play seriously now. Then she removes the weapon from a strange place. He thinks that the spot where she hid the weapon is quite peculiar. What matters is that he starts calculating the places he touched on the walls and that represented parts of the woman. Then he turns and runs, thinking he already knows where he will touch now. And the spider woman leaps toward him, believing he is fleeing. While pursuing him, she says it is already too late. Then right above him, she prepares to deliver her attack, but our hero jumps, managing to dodge at the last moment. He says that his agility is greater than hers and that he will not allow himself to be caught off guard. The spider woman replies that she knows this while throwing something in his direction. He defends himself, but it seems to be spider web, and he gets stuck against the wall. He tries to struggle to get free, but it is useless. She approaches and says that he cannot escape. Then she prepares to attack him, commanding him to die. At that moment, our MC manages to free one of his hands, and he touches an area of the wall thinking that, if he is correct, it would be the inner thigh. Caught off guard, the woman begins to feel it again. She tries to hold back from screaming, but our hero continues working with his hands. He concentrates intensely so that no sound escapes, and she remains motionless. After a while, very flushed, she realizes that she managed to endure, and that if she does not scream, she will not be struck. But when she looks ahead, she realizes that the human has managed to escape. He says he had already warned that he would be able to get out, and the woman looks at him, calling him a fool. But she says she had anticipated all his movements, and that he used the only chance he had to escape. Then she seals his mouth with silk threads, so that he can no longer scream, rendering his attack useless. He asks if he has now hit her on the inner part of her thigh. She gets irritated because the human is paying too much attention, and he says that after aiming at her, he can organize everything according to the proportions of her body. Determined, he decides to deliver the final blow to her and will find the most sensitive spot to destabilize her. She thinks she is prepared regardless of which part of the body he attacked, and that this time she will not make any sound. He prepares to attack. Then the spider woman realizes that he is about to begin. At that moment, she is struck by the sensation again and thinks she will not scream. Cyrus notices that there was no reaction. She realizes that this time the sensation is different and seems to come from her heart. She resists strongly and mentally tells Lord Azathoth that even if it is a sensation coming from her heart, she will endure. pulling her weapon from the ground. She thinks that this level of stimulation is nothing compared to what he has already provided, so she heads toward our hero, and he now uses both hands, telling her to enjoy this. The woman seems to finally be struck squarely, and that sensation begins to take over her mind. That spider woman begins to writhe on the ground again. He wonders what trick this is, but is very interested in learning. The woman wonders how that human is capable of doing this, and that it is something she has never felt before, to the point where the image of her master begins to blur. She is determined to stop all of this and can no longer think that way. She starts to get up, thinking that she must compose herself because she belongs to the demon god. She realizes that she has not made any sound. It seems the level was sufficient. The woman injects the poison from her body into that weapon, and again charges at our MC, determined not to fall so easily. He charges against that wall again, telling her to enjoy his skills, and the woman collapses to the ground. She will not be able to take another step because the sensation is too strong. Dragging herself, she knows she needs to kill him as quickly as possible. Otherwise, that demon god will disappear from her heart. So she throws her sword at our guy. He easily dodges that desperate attack. Then she screams for him to free himself, and the weapon explodes behind him, catching him by surprise. That entire area is engulfed by her poison, while she thinks there's no way he can escape. That purple substance spreads throughout the place. She gets up from the ground, observing her result, for she knows that from that distance, there's no way he could have escaped, and with his whole body infected, he cannot survive. But our hero emerges from the top of the building, saying it was just another trick like that spider silk one. Surprised, she realizes she couldn't hit our powerful hero. Cyrus says she won't fall for the same trick twice, and that now it's her turn. Then he jumps down from above, and places his hands on both walls as he descends along the entire building. The woman writhes completely this time, and realizes that those feelings are coming again. He continues descending, taking advantage of every part of that wall. Desperate, she thinks of trying to endure because it's almost over, but this time it's taking too long. She can't handle it any longer and pleads for it to stop. Her mouth protection made of silk begins to break, and she thinks she won't hold on. Then she lets out a huge scream. That little bell given by the demon god shatters into pieces, and a massive explosion occurs in that place. She is hit squarely by all that magical power, and in the next moment, her magical power becomes zero, and she turns into a cute little spider. The terminal shows that the enemy has been eliminated and the weapons have returned to the system. He walks towards that completely ruined place, and he reaches out to grab that cute little spider. The terminal shows that he gained the boss's abilities and still earned her admiration. Excited, he realizes that he can now poison his weapons, but at that moment the demon god appears right behind him, saying that he caught him. Sadiel lets a few drops of her wounded finger fall to the ground, and in the next moment she simply disappears. She appears before that demon god, who demands to know where that human is. She kneels before him and confesses that she lost the trail. He says that the system of that human is originally his heart, and that the night will also turn into a human. Suddenly, a huge scream comes from the nearby city, and he realizes that this is his system. Then he leaves the woman there and flies quickly toward the sound. Sadiel remains on the ground, very surprised. He gains the ability to teleport the subdued monsters back to his home. Meanwhile, at his home, Yes is going crazy from the disinfectant, and she wonders what hit her, soon realizing that it is a cute little spider. At that moment, the demon god approaches our hero, who is completely caught off guard, and that creature holds him by the head, pressing him against the ground. He says that the young hero promised to save him but fled in the middle of the scheme. Cyrus protests, saying that he is a man and moreover, a monster, and that he lied to him about the curse, saying that he has no interest in men, but the demon god wants to complete the process. Then he asks what he thinks about that, leaving the young man surprised. He makes a NIAU, asking if that makes him more interested in him, but Cyrus says that even so, he will not accept. He says that no matter what he becomes, he is not interested at all because he does not like men, but the demon god easily catches his punch with his hand. Twisting his hand, he questions whether humans do not like those things like black stockings and little ears. He thought he could have a little fun with him, but was rejected, and that is really sad. Thus, he will have to resort to some more drastic measures, bringing the young man's finger to his mouth. Our hero becomes desperate with this attitude. He jumps back, telling him not to do that. But the demon god seems excited and says that he has a very sweet taste. He explains that no matter what he does, he will not be able to escape. He recounts that he maximized the level system a long time ago, and that even if he runs, the result will be the same. Azathoth says he will show a different kind of fun, and if he agrees to follow, he will give him the cure. Cyrus says that if this is the only way to get his cure, he will let his body melt completely, and that he will never do that with a man. The demon god is starting to lose patience, and he says that since he is not obedient, he needs to be disciplined, and that soon he will beg. Then he strikes our hero, saying that his system and his heart can return to his master's body. But it seems that something did not happen as he expected. His magic suddenly disappears, and the terminal shows that the system will not return and that turning his attacks against Cirrus will be useless. The terminal also asks if he wants to sacrifice 50% of his life to have a chance to kill Azathoth, and of course, our MC agrees. He explains the step-by-step process that will happen for him to absorb Azathoth and cure himself of all the poison. Then his life is reduced to 50 days now. The demon god does not believe that the system is refusing to return to him. Our MC then looks at the creature and locks his aim on it. In the next moment, a huge red mist appears. That mist spreads throughout the area, and he can barely open his eyes because it is so thick. The demon god quickly cuts his hand. In another location, Sadiel wonders why her hand was cut. That liquid starts to drip on the ground, and a red thing emerges in that place. From within comes Azathoth, very tense, realizing that the system betrayed him and found a new host. Our hero realizes that he knows where that creature is, as the system has locked its location. Sadiel asks if he is hurt because he is sweating a lot, but he says that there is no one who could hurt him, as their bodies are linked, and the injuries would go to her. She asks if he killed the human, but Azathoth says that his attacks are useless against him. Besides, she is very interested in him. Since he has been with the system for thousands of years, he knows he can kill the human with pleasure instead of attacking him. He knows that if he kills the boy, the system will come back for him because it's hard to find a host, and when he becomes human, the system will lose its location. So he gives the order for Sadiel to go out at night and find that guy again. The demon goddess wants to know if Sadiel managed to acquire that transformation magic, because that night she will become human again, so she needs to maintain her disguise. She is quite pleased with that appearance because she knows that human boys love to save the helpless damsel. Sadiel wants to know if it is really possible to die from extreme pleasure, and Seidos says yes because she herself died that way. She becomes furious, questioning why the system abandoned her and chose that human instead. Meanwhile, our MC thinks he only has 50 days left to live and needs to find that demoness as soon as possible. He knows that time is short for this. Then suddenly, the poison inside his body starts to torture him again. This time it seems to be affecting his foot, and now another toe is dragging along. He falls to the ground, screaming in pain, and he begins to lose consciousness slowly. That chubby man observes from a distance. Then when he starts to wake up, he sees a man in a mask. The doctor orders to call Charlton because he is waking up. He is surprised to find himself in the hospital and discovers that the vice president of the guild brought him there. That well-dressed man enters the room. It seems he did this because the boy saved his life, and our hero recognizes that chubby guy from the fight against the spider. He wants to know how long he has been asleep, and it seems it was about 13 hours. The man apologizes for bothering him at that moment, and our boy doesn't understand anything. He says he saw the fight against the demon spider and mentions that his magic is very special. The old man explains that he is getting older and his body is failing, so he wants to learn that to feel young again. He begs the boy to teach him his magic and accept him as a student. Cyrus is very surprised that the guild's vice president wants to be her student. It seems like an interesting proposal since if he becomes her master, he can use the guild's resources to find Seidos. However, she knows that his power comes from the system, so she makes up a story saying that it is very difficult and asks if the guy really wants this. The old man says that no matter how difficult it is, he will study hard and do his best. Then he explains that the magic he witnessed needs to be practiced at his fingertips. The man throws himself on his knees in front of her, thanking his dear mentor profusely, and our MC, feeling embarrassed, asks him to get up. He asks him to keep it a secret because after all, he is the vice president of the Heroes Guild. Then Daisy knocks on the door looking for that man. In that document, there is a photo of our boy stating that he is a deserter and his punishment is death. She explains that the papers say he disobeyed the captain and tried to flee, but the vice director realizes that this is a trick. He tells everyone that he did not flee and that he was the one who killed the dungeon boss. She mocks him, saying that he and his two friends of rank C and B could never kill a rank S boss. Our hero wants her to send someone to verify, and she says that has already been done, but he has to explain why he fled. The vice director interrupts, saying that he doesn't need to explain anything, and the woman gets agitated, saying that he is breaking the rules. That man says that Cyrus will be able to accompany him to the guild banquet, and our hero gets excited about that. Feeling better, he searches on his terminal for the location of that demon god, and he is surprised to see that he is getting closer and closer to him. But suddenly he realizes that he is not heading directly towards him. He gets up, running from the hospital, realizing that the demon god is heading to his house. He runs like crazy to get there. After a while, he arrives home, flinging the door open. He enters a bit desperate. He notices that the cute spider is still there, sleeping and drooling, but he continues to move forward searching. He looks in a few more places and does not see us. Furious, he wonders if that creature has taken her. Elsewhere, Yus begins to open her eyes, and she realizes that she is trapped in some kind of dungeon. That woman next to her says it is an auction house for monsters and humans. He runs through the buildings, noticing that the demon god has not changed his position and is getting closer. Suddenly, his location disappears, and he realizes that he cannot track him during the night. Out of nowhere, a man in armor appears, crossing his path with an axe. He jumps back just seconds before being hit, preparing for a fight without the slightest idea of what is happening. The guy says he is waiting in that location and that it doesn't matter if he is human or monster, he will die. Cyrus realizes they are bandits. Someone mentions that there are women trapped as bait to lure them out, and someone gives the order to capture him because they want to hear a confession. He thinks one of those women is Yus and wants to ask if they saw a dubious demon man. At the terminal, our MC discovers he only has 2 minutes to resolve everything. After that, he will be rank F. Yus is trying to free herself from that, but it's useless, and since she couldn't play video games with the guys, she is weak. The trapped woman is surprised that she doesn't want to return to the dungeon, but she explains that she prefers to stay in her master's nest. Then suddenly something bursts in front of them, and a guy enters through the hole, crashing into the wall. He falls to the ground defeated. Our hero enters thinking he has finished this in 2 minutes while Yus calls for her master. He receives a quest to beat someone and make her scream. If he fails, he will be paralyzed for a while. He panics at the sight of the man being unconscious. A girl screams, begging the warrior to save her. He becomes worried because the demon god could appear at any moment, so he needs to finish the mission. Cyrus goes over and frees his servant Yus. Then he says he needs to do this by slapping the girl. She questions what her master is doing while the terminal shows that he is progressing in the quest. He explains that to save them, he needs to beat them up, so please don't mind. The demon goddess realizes that the boy isn't so nice after all and is trying to take advantage of her. She asks him to please free her and doesn't mind if he beats her. He can even make her his girl. Our hero goes over and frees the woman. Then she flies at him and hugs him, saying she had been kidnapped. She was very scared because she would be sold to goblins. As she says she now belongs to him, Cyrus raises his hand and gives the girl a hard slap. But he is surprised by something there and wants to know why she isn't crying. Then she asks if he can do that again, leaving him somewhat scared. Suddenly, he falls to the ground like a tree. Yus worries about her master. She then advances on him, saying she is in a lot of pain and needs his seed, because otherwise she might even die, and asks why he isn't responding. Conveniently deciding to take that as a yes, she starts biting his neck, while the other woman says she is a shameless caterpillar and how dare she do this before her. But Yus wraps her with her tail, saying that he is her master and not hers because she arrived first. The demon goddess thinks that if it were daytime, she would kick her butt. But since her goal is to recover the system, there is no reason to argue with her, so she slowly approaches and starts to join in on the fun. Our hero is confused about why she is pleasing him so easily. Sadiel turns red, thinking that she shares the body with her, so she feels everything too, and thinks she hasn't had this much fun in a long time. That outfit of hers starts to tear. The girl seems unable to resist any longer. Nearby, someone orders to fold the fingers and gives some more instructions. While the girl is almost having a fit there, the demon goddess seems quite satisfied with that, and our hero is somewhat desperate about them doing that. Sadiel feels as if she is holding something. Cyrus becomes a bit worried about the situation because something feels familiar there. Then he realizes that the person is Sato's. The demon goddess looks at him, questioning why her eyes changed. Then she thinks that this is what she unintentionally used the same move. She panics, thinking she has been exposed. Then suddenly something bursts behind them, and Yus screams, saying it is some danger. She turns into that little salamander and asks her master to protect her. The other woman thinks she has been exposed and now needs to run away. He thanks God for noticing all of that beforehand, but he doesn't have the power now to go after her. Finally, the mobilization time ends, and now that he has completed the task, he can go after her. But while it is nighttime, he needs to be careful with any girl near him. For now, he decides to go home. Meanwhile, at the guild zone gate, someone points out that Cyrus has returned, and he sees that it's that damned captain, the vice director's secretary. He shows the poster saying that the boy is arrested for his crimes, but suddenly the woman tells him to wait. She says she went to investigate the dungeon and that it is empty, so that process should be cancelled. She states that they cannot arrest him now and that they need to pay attention to the guild celebration. The guy strikes the woman, saying that she is a fraud and that the event was only for rank A or higher, and if they mock him, then he will arrest her too. It seems that she will need some documents to release him from this, and that 10 minutes is enough. Then our hero says to let loose and that he will apologize later. Sometime later in the interrogation room, everyone is there. Cyrus questions if our hero remembers why his hand is injured. He said he was fighting the boss, but the boy did that to him to escape, so half the team died. He bangs on the table, demanding that the guy confess and that he must die. Then Saris says that the deserter should really die, and that captain gets furious about it. He asks one of his goons to get the hammer. He gets tense because he cannot use the terminal for 10 minutes and has to wait for the woman to return. Yes says he managed to recover some power and can deal with those humans, but he will have to replenish her when he gets home, so our hero agrees. The guy slams the hammer on the table near our hero's hand. He wants the boy to choose which finger he will start with, or he will choose for him. Suddenly someone opens the door, saying there is more news, and it seems the secretary has arrived with the documents. That document states that the evidence is inconsistent. Everything is clear. They get tense because the boy knows the vice president and that woman is indeed his secretary. The goon asks if the fun is over, and the captain says it is illegal to do anything now. But luckily, he ended up not receiving any documents, so he doesn't know that. Our hero realizes he is being tricked. The guy says he must pay the price today. The goon says she cannot enter, and that there is no way to access who is inside. Then that scoundrel slams the hammer on our hero's hand, but he seems to feel nothing from it. Removing the hammer, the guy sees that his hand is intact. He wonders what the hell is happening since there is no injury. Outside, the secretary tries to enter, and the man stops her until the vice director arrives. That guy now gets tense and desperate upon seeing the elder. Then suddenly the door is kicked open, and the guy is caught with a hammer in hand. He nearly soils himself seeing the guild director. He asks why he is there, and the man orders to free Sirius, showing the document. He drops the hammer and cannot believe what he is seeing. Then in the next moment, our hero is freed. The elder says he abused his position, so he will be demoted. The guy tries to make up an excuse, saying he didn't receive the documents and his goons are witnesses. But it seems everyone there is scared and leaves the captain to suffer alone. The vice director says there is no way to make up an excuse about this. But to everyone's surprise, our hero gives him a break and says the guy really didn't receive the document. Cyrus says they can let that go, but those guys have to apologize to the lovely lady there. The woman is surprised by his attitude. Then they all bow, apologizing like little puppies. Our hero takes the opportunity to punish them for being rude to that beautiful secretary. The guys start screaming as they are beaten with that stick, while the secretary looks shy. She seems to be enjoying the scene while everyone apologizes, saying they won't do it again. He drops that thing that finally completed the mission, but it seems there is more fun to come. He notices the terror of the ex-captain and says he is not done with him yet, and he reminds the guy that he hit his hand with a hammer. Then he starts to squeeze, and the guy apologizes and humbles himself like a puppy. He begs, saying he was wrong, but still, our hero squeezes until he breaks his arm. The guy falls to the ground, desperate among his goons, while our humble hero forgives him. It seems that now is time to go to the party, and the elder has to receive the people from the church. Cyrus seems surprised by the church thing. It is a church made to eradicate evil, and they have excellent purification magic, and clearly that woman is very religious. Sometime later, in that extremely luxurious hall, the party is in full swing. The woman from the church is there and clearly dresses like a modest nun. People around question whether those clothes are not excessive for a nun, but everyone turns red when it seems the woman is hearing what they are saying. She explains that she is trained to eliminate evil and that they need to understand it deeply, so do not judge her with those filthy eyes. The old man orders the guards to whip the guys as punishment, but the nun says that this is not necessary, for if they are going to punish someone for this, everyone should be punished. The only exception would be the vice president, but his mind is also agitated while his body shows no reaction. The guy feels awkward and says he has a pure heart and very high control, while the others just comment around that the guy is impotent. Then they arrive at the location and the woman says that this is the celebration party. She suggests that they enter and our elegant hero agrees. He asks if the church's magic is really powerful, and the woman confirms that yes, and it is also unique. She tells them that they can heal any kind of situation, so everyone in the guild would like to work with them, but they reject everyone. But they hardly use magic to care for others, and the reason for this is that they are not pure. It seems like a great opportunity to try to get rid of that poison. Then the duo arrives there and the receptionist clears the way for them. It seems that everyone is gathered there in the middle, but they do not know the reason. The old man says that the nun is testing to see if they are qualified to receive her help. She says that the Sacred Heart curtain is their treasure. Entering there, the person's heart will be shown in the gem. She mentions that no one passed the test in the other guilds, and to work with them, a person needs to pass. Everyone is curious to know how that works, but it seems that to discover how it works, they must enter the device. Logan, a rank captain of Team 7, says he will enter because he is an honest man. He steps forward and determinedly enters that device, but when he gets inside, he seems surprised, and he panics upon seeing thick legs in front of him. It seems he encounters exactly the type of woman that is his weakness, and even more so with such health as that, he begins to be affected by it. Suddenly she gets very close to him, but he remains static. Out of nowhere, he panics when she approaches him even more with all that health. Then she shamelessly smiles and gives a little meow to him. The guy seems like he won't hold out much longer, and he's eager to play a video game with the girl. She teases him by asking where he wants to touch first, and he explains that it is on those cute things over there. Then she tells him to shut up. That cute girl gives him a smack saying that he is disgusting. The guy is thrown far from that tent, and he rolls on the ground bouncing in front of everyone. The nun looks up and says that he is 88% impure, so he is truly an evil man. One of the people watching points to show that percentage and says it is something dangerous inside. Then Owen, the captain of Team 6, says that no matter what is inside, he can handle it and that he will try. In the next moment, he also takes a strong hit inside. It seems that the guy is quite injured but still satisfied as he says he saw something unbelievable. The guy managed to beat the previous man's record and is 92% impure. One after another, they take the test, but it seems there is no one with a pure heart around. Then suddenly another contender appears, and our hero says that now it is his turn. She thinks that Guy is the last one, and when he enters the place, it seems he is also caught off guard. A few seconds later, he is being crushed in those fluffy pillows. The woman teases him by asking if he would like something, but it seems our hero slaps the girl's face and gives a hit, throwing her away. Determined, he says that it is another woman trying to get close to him, thinking he needs to be cautious because of the thing, the demon goddess. Not believing this, the girl thinks he is the first man to reject her. And outside, the nun seems unable to believe what she is seeing. Ali on top shows 0%, and she thinks it's the first time she's seen someone so pure. It seems our hero got lucky and managed to avoid the problem due to his fear of encountering the demon woman. He activates his terminal, which asks if it should focus on his enemy. He will only have one chance to kill Satos, so he is nervous about that. The woman doesn't understand anything since it's the first time someone has rejected her and pushed her away. But she notices he is looking at her body. However, he has no ulterior motives. While our hero stays alert to her movements, he thinks he is more annoying than those other guys who keep staring at her body, and that this is a blow to her seductive powers. While she thinks about how she will seduce him, our MC looks for masculine traits in that person. Then she advances, telling him not to look at her in such a hostile way, wanting to hug him. He becomes quite suspicious as the woman approaches like a mad woman. But when she hugs him, there is actually no one there, and she realizes that our hero dodged that, causing her to be rejected for the second time. But the woman doesn't give up and continues moving towards him, telling him not to be shy. She tells him to feel how cute she is. Cyrus thinks it's the right moment to slide underneath and see if she has a big sword hidden, so he makes a skilled move and attacks the woman, while she is already completely on top of him. It's very difficult, but our boy tries to take his eyes off that huge thing to check his doubt. The woman notices that even while dodging, he doesn't take his eyes off her. Then he makes a huge leap, getting out of her reach. The girl remains confused about what is happening. Desperate, he realizes he can't take his eyes off that giant thing. Finally, she asks why he is rejecting her if he can't stop looking at her body, and she loses control, wanting to know why. She seems to be suffering a lot, but calmly, our hero responds that it's because he is a decent person. She is quite surprised by this when he explains that he could never have such thoughts about her body. He explains that mothers give birth to them and feed them with that. Then he looks at that giant thing with immense gratitude, leaving that girl completely speechless. Finally, she accepts that he is a decent gentleman, and now, appearing as a giant before her, she realizes this is their gap. Disappointed, she says he passed the test and can leave now. Cyrus is surprised she tells him to leave, then believes she is not Sato's. Waving goodbye to the girl, he says he will ask the nun if he can remove his poison. With a 0% evil indication, he leaves that tent victorious. She becomes desperate, thinking that her training was not enough. The people around are in doubt if he is really pure or if the crystal malfunctioned. The nun says she has never seen anyone with such a pure heart. The boy says he was going to pass the test and asks if she can use purification magic to remove his poison, and the nun confirms. Out of nowhere, she orders everyone to leave that place. Then sometime later, she is alone with our MC. She tells him to lie down and says she will remove his poison now. Obeying the order, he asks if he needs to do anything else, but she just tells him not to move. She says the magic is granted by the church and that each person uses this magic on a different part of the body. Then she removes her luxurious shoes, and she explains that her purification magic starts from the foot, and she uses it by stepping. And she says he cannot have any impure thoughts during the healing, otherwise it won't work. Our hero wants to know if the impure thoughts she mentions are in relation to him. She says of course, since the moment she became a nun, her lust was removed from her. She tells him to relax as she will do the verification process to understand his condition. And with that, she can treat him more precisely. Then she starts stepping on his arm, and she moves her foot down to his hand. He turns his hand thinking that she wants him to do that. But at that moment she scolds him, telling him not to do that, as she will do it herself, otherwise it will disrupt the magic. The woman thinks the chair is a bit small. She thinks it is better to use the boy's face for support, It seems that now is a bit better. Then she manages to turn his hand, and she says that now she is starting the process. She asks if he has returned to reality, and he says yes. Then she adds that the treatment has failed. She places her hand there and realizes that his heart is beating with a familiar sensation. It seems like there are evil thoughts, and they are the ones that cause the treatment to fail. The woman says that the treatment is finished. Our hero says he still has poison, but she replies that the boy needs a more prolonged treatment. The nun says she will inform him as soon as she finds a way to get closer to the core of the toxins. She tells him to go to the church to find her at any time and that her name is Lilia. Saying that today is enough, she bids him farewell. The young man thinks that it seems he will need Satos to deal with this poison. Leaving the room, the woman leans against the wall. She thinks she was almost losing control and that this is very strange since her energy had already been completely drained. In another location, Brother Cyrus kicks him away, irritated that he cannot solve a simple problem. The ex-captain starts to make excuses, but his brother is fed up with that. Then he throws an envelope at him. It seems to be a dungeon with an SS rank boss, and Cyrus wonders if his brother wants to see him dead. But he explains that the dungeon has already been cleared and that it seems the boss is so weak that even an F rank could kill it. The man intercepted this information earlier that day, so it is the perfect moment for him to achieve glory and regain his position as captain. Cyrus gets excited about this. In another location, the boss of that dungeon drinks the liquid from someone. The demon goddess says that after he drinks that, he will be completely healed. He swallows that substance and begins to rise. It seems that the creature is once again as good as new. The demon tells Lord Satos that she has saved him once again, then asks what she can do for him. All the woman wants is for him to kill a simple human for her. Looking at the terminal, it seems that Satos is in a very distant location. The vice principal is very excited because the church will now work with them and says that if he wants anything, he just has to ask. Then he asks to be given a captain position so he can choose which dungeon to enter, and the man says that is easy. The young man decides to go home to get organized, since he knows he only has 49 days to live. But the old man says they are short on manpower and that it may take until noon for the process of him becoming a captain to be completed. The secretary says she can help because she knows the process, and that she should consider this as a thank you for having helped before. Sometime later, our hero is already home, and he is welcomed by Yas, who greets her master. She says she has already prepared the food and cleaned everything as well. She states that now that everything is clean, she is a perfect maid, but our hero wishes she had left some food. Being quite helpful, she wants to know if she can stay there forever, and our hero asks if she does not want to return home. Then the girl reflects for a while on the word home, but she explains that beasts only have dens and do not have homes. She squeezes his face between her hands. Then he asks her not to let anyone know that she is a demon beast, as that could cause problems. Excited, she tells her dear one that she is really good at hiding. But now that she has fulfilled her duties, she says it is the master's turn. She explains that she has been quite magical these last few days, and her master promised to pay double. Our hero becomes a little tense. Then he thinks that he only has to gain from this, since if he touches her, she can double her power. In another location, the secretary is arriving at Cyrus's house. Back at the young man's house, it seems the girl is a bit wild, and she picks the boy up like a doll, saying that his body is handsome. She states that she cannot help but get close to him, and that her desire is to possess him. Then the boy almost has a collapse, but these attributes keep increasing quite a bit. She even wags her tail excitedly. Her attributes keep increasing non-stop. Suddenly, she grabs him tightly, and he complains that she is hurting him. She apologizes and says she got a little too excited. At that moment, someone knocks on the door. Yes becomes curious, and our hero says it must be the secretary with the letter of his promotion. He asks the woman to hide, and she agrees. Then he goes to the door to answer the secretary. He apologizes, saying he was taking a shower and took a while to answer, but she says it's fine, and there's her promotion letter. Cyrus thanks him a lot, saying she bought some fruits for him. Our hero says it was great because he was out of food, and there in the room, Yes snoops around. The girl says that if he liked it, he can bring more next time, and the demon woman realizes she is a girl. A bit awkward, the girl says that if he needs anything, she is at his disposal. Suddenly, Yes comes up from behind and asks if they haven't been talking for a long time. The secretary is surprised that the woman is so tall. He feels embarrassed, stammering because the woman has come out of hiding. But it seems the girl disguised herself as a human. She hugs the boy, saying she is his dear one. The secretary feels a bit awkward while Yes tries to kiss our MC. Then she takes those bags of fruit back and turns away, irritated, waving goodbye. Yes says he knows some transformation tricks while he feels upset for not having eaten again. Daisy, quite irritated with the situation, takes that bunch of fruit to the trash. Sometime later, our hero is putting on his armor. He says he has a mission for her. She must transform into a human and go buy food, being careful not to get caught. Determined, he thinks it's time to find Satos. Then, upon stepping outside, he finds a bag and becomes curious about it. It's a bag full of fruits and a paper with notes. It seems someone is asking him not to get upset about something. In a dungeon, the raid group of that captain proceeds without any apparent problems. All thanks, of course, to that map his brother gave him. Several groups have been there before, and they took advantage of that to gather information to conquer this dungeon. And according to the guild's rules, whoever defeats the boss will keep all the resources. Our MC is pleased that his attributes are high and can easily defeat even an A-rank monster. He realizes that Sato's is deep within this dungeon, in the boss room. Cyrus's group continues advancing until they hear something strange. He orders everyone to stay alert because of it. Something emerges from the middle of that thicket, and it's something he seems unable to believe. Our dear hero steps out from that mess. He feels tense and questions why the boy is there. Then he asks what he is doing there, and the boy replies that he is doing the same as him, killing beasts. He says he is there alone, but is in a hurry, so he will see him later, thinking it's bad luck to have run into him. The captain thinks he knows the boss is all beaten up and wants to take the dungeon alone to gain the credits. He orders everyone to speed up, thinking he can't let the boy reach that boss first. Meanwhile, Cyrus activates her map. There, all the items in the dungeon are shown, and it seems there is a mechanism linked to that sword. The captain sees that according to the map he has, he can tell that the right side leads to death, and the left is the correct path. So the boy runs towards his destination, thinking he has no way to remove that sword and has more information than our MC. He decides that after crossing that path, he will seal it so he cannot be followed. But suddenly, a huge, furious creature starts to roar. They are surprised by this. It seems to be a massive dragon. Cyrus is shocked to see a dragon there since his brother's map didn't mention it. Everything around starts to break and fall, so the captain orders the group to move away. The dragon crashes against those walls and begins to fall. Clinging to the dragon, someone seems to be fighting fiercely against it, and lands a massive punch on that creature, throwing it to the ground. The captain panics as everything is falling on them, then orders them to dodge. In the next moment, that enormous monster is on the ground. He feels super tense that this woman managed to handle the dragon with bare hands. Then the woman floats down to the group. Her name is Daphne. She is an S-rank hero and talks about which zone they are from. Tense, the captain says they are warriors from Zone Z. Then the woman says they are there to conquer the dungeon, and the guy confirms it. But it seems that Zone K didn't ask for help from Zone Z, so she says they want to compete with her. Cyrus says that actually, they could work together, but the woman says they wouldn't stand a chance. She completes that she does not work in a group and that only the weak trust others. Suddenly, something appears near the girl's ear. A voice asks for help, saying that there is a dragon nearby and that it needs assistance. She says that if they are afraid of the dragon, they should go home, and that when she returns, she does not want to see them there because they are not worthy of being her rivals. Then, with immense strength, she leaps off the ground and flies through the air. She thinks that judging by the sound, it cannot be too far from there. Our hero is surprised that this woman can fly, but the captain takes advantage of this to continue on the path and try to find the boss soon. Cyrus thinks the guys are a bit too anxious. Watching the area, he says there must be a trap around. Then that door closes and becomes sealed. Celebrating, they say that place is theirs and all the credit too. It seems that our hero's magic points are dropping rapidly, but he manages to pull the sword from that place. Behind the wall, things start to get complicated. Cyrus decides to take the right path. Then he says that all the demons in the boss's room have already been eliminated by another guild, and unlike the other path, they will only find half-crazed monsters there. He thinks Cyrus is a loser and has no chance of competing with them. But upon reaching that room, the boy gets scared, pointing ahead to the captain, and some huge, furious wolves appear before him. The furious creatures charge at the group of heroes. Meanwhile, in the boss's room, it seems that the demon goddess is awakening. She is very tired because she has never given that amount of liquid all at once to anyone. She asks Shia not to let her down. The demon says he feels his body different now, as if he has unlimited power. Sadiel is worried if the demon can really kill the human, and Sato says his power is greater than the boy's. The demon goddess comments that all the demons in this dungeon are male. At that moment, our hero encounters a pack of wolves. Then he gets excited to test that sword, and prepares to use that tool that the dungeon gave him. A terminal appears on the ground with the name of a skill, and he uses his sword as if it were a switch. At that instant, a bunch of arrows flies toward those wolves, and the creatures have no chance against our powerful hero. But some have tougher skin and charge at our hero. He pulls the sword from the ground and delivers a precise attack against the monster. The other one jumps at him at that moment, and spinning his weapon, he strikes that one too. Meanwhile, the raid group runs desperately because those wolves are too strong for them. They run down the corridor looking for a way to escape, but they finally reach that door that the captain sealed some time ago. The wolves do not give up and continue advancing until they corner them there. Acting smart, the captain tells them to deal with the wolves while he tries to open the door. The creatures advance while the guys try to defend themselves as best as they can. Cyrus realizes he is in trouble because the map does not say anything about opening that door. Nearby, the wolves continue charging at our powerful hero. The monster opens a giant mouth, but he dodges just in time, leaving the two wolves looking foolish. Then he steps back a bit from the creatures. Another terminal appears beside him showing a door. It seems Cyrus is using cheats. The wolves charge at him again, but he uses his weapon as a switch once more, and that door begins to move. Then that huge stone block falls on the creatures, crushing them like cockroaches. On the other side, the raid group is struggling against those little dogs. The group shouts that the door has opened, then they order a retreat. They start running desperately with the wolf on their heels. However, one of the big ones grabs that poor guy by the leg. Our hero thinks everything is resolved and that it went smoothly. There, the captain hops out with that wolf's head clamped onto his leg. Then shaking his leg, he manages to get rid of that thing. Cyrus seems to have found a great new toy. Turning around, he continues on his path, leaving those dead wolves behind. After a while, the raid group moves forward, and the captain remains focused on finishing that dungeon, because he knows that if he returns empty-handed, his brother will definitely take his head off. They continue along the path, realizing that all the demonic beasts there are dead. The fool realizes that the map was upside down and the correct side was the right side. Then they reach another fork where everyone discusses where they should go next. Not very sure about it, he points to the left this time. Our hero continues moving forward, guided by his stolen terminal. But he doesn't understand why that boss is outside the room. The creature is excited that he has obtained the dark sword. He asks if Seidos is inside that room. Then the monster says it will offer its head to the goddess Seidos, but our hero asks if it thinks she is a woman. The creature finds this obvious, as with all those traits, it can only be a woman. Using the sword again as a switch, he activates another ability up there, saying that the guy can think whatever he wants, and a huge thing appears as if it were a trap. That thing approaches the monster quickly, but with a hand movement, he easily deals with it. While breaking everything around, he lets out a terrifying roar. Cyrus realizes that he didn't even need the weapon to handle the trap, and the monster is indignant that the boy said his goddess is a man, claiming that this is disrespectful and that he insulted her. Cyrus sees that the guy is not joking and is incredibly fast. The monster delivers a powerful blow and our hero dodges. It seems that our boy's weapon has just been broken. Cyrus realizes that the guy is incredibly strong, but it's all good because now it's his moment to counterattack. So he activates an ability and disappears from the monster's sight. He appears behind the creature without it noticing. Then he transfers his powerful attack against the monster, but the creature quickly turns around and blocks that attack. He realizes that his cut was blocked and is shocked by it. The monster tells him not to be surprised, as creating clones is its technique. And now it's the guy's turn to counterattack, delivering another powerful blow to our boy. He claims that his goddess multiplied his power several times, and that killing that boy will be as easy as crushing an insect. Cyrus realizes that this is the strongest demon he has ever faced. While holding off the attack from that creature, its copy advances toward him, and he notices that the guy has split into two, trying to escape from where he was. Our hero manages to dodge that attack, but he gets hit by the second and is thrown far away. The two monsters celebrate excitedly. Our boy didn't expect there to be clones and now knows he's in trouble. Nearby, the raid group is being crushed by a huge golem. The captain screams for help because his leg is messed up. He tries to protect himself, pleading for someone to save him. Suddenly, the creature is torn into several pieces, and it falls to the side like a broken doll. He looks on, not understanding what's going on, and that strong woman appears again, wanting to know if the guys need help. Then the woman repeats, asking if they are the ones who are asking for help, and the captain says yes. The group gets excited, thinking they are saved and surprised that a woman crushed a giant. But out of nowhere, she kicks that man's face. The guy goes down like a ball while the group realizes he has been knocked out. Daphne wants to know if all the warriors from Zone Z are this useless, saying that if this world depended on them, it would be doomed. She tells them to get lost and train more because she doesn't want to see their faces there. With no other option, the guys just obey. Then the woman turns to the other situation, and it seems she is heading toward the boss's room as well. She flies through the walls like a superhero. With that muscular arm in front, she goes through all of them. In the boss room, our hero is suffering a lot because the demon is stronger than him. The demon says that his goddess told him that if he kills the boy, she will marry him. Then he commands him to die in the name of his beautiful beloved. Cyrus feels a bit tense because there is no female demon around. Suddenly, the wall next to him bursts open, and that healthy woman appears in the room. Our hero is surprised while she thinks he is just another guy from Zone Z. She says he looks like he has already been defeated, so he shouldn't waste his life and let her show him. But Cyrus says that this boss is stronger than he thought, so he asks the woman to help him kill it. She seems a bit incredulous that he said she would help him. Furious, she asks if he is crazy or if he didn't understand what she said. She then repeats, saying to leave the demon to her and wants the trash from Zone Z to stay out of it. It seems that our hero locked his aim on her while she finishes saying that otherwise she will do something. Then he grabs her and gives her a whiff, causing Cyrus to start getting stronger again. Suddenly, the woman realizes what she is doing and spits. She turns red, wondering what is happening to her. The demon gets upset, thinking they are getting cozy as if he weren't there, and the woman thinks she has never approached a guy before. That boss gets furious, believing they are mocking him. The two creatures begin to attack the duo, but our hero skillfully dodges that attack. The demon realizes that his power has increased. Daphne is still in shock from having kissed him and thinks it might be because she was too close. It seems she really enjoyed kissing our MC, and the terminal shows her lust is at 85%. He shouts for her not to be tormented while the fight continues. Then he jumps in front of her to protect her from the creature's attack. He manages to make her dodge it. Daphne notices pieces of her armor flying in all directions. Then he protects her, saying she almost got hit by that attack, and the demon says he is getting pretty quick. He stays in front of the girl, protecting her as best as he can. Daphne doesn't seem to be in much condition to fight. The girl feels as if she can't move, and the terminal only shows the numbers increasing. The boss notices that the human's power is increasing significantly, so he needs to finish him off soon. Meanwhile, the girl starts to lose strength in her legs from how excited she is. She thinks she feels very strange and has never felt anything like this before. She realizes that in this situation, she can't fight and tries to calm down because she is there to kill demons. Our hero has already helped her twice, and she doesn't want to be a burden in this battle. Then he tells her that she is still not strong enough and needs to work as a team with him. But the girl doesn't yield and says she doesn't do groups and always kills demons alone. But since there are two demons there, each can face one, and that won't hurt her principles, so she asks if he agrees with that. He approaches the girl and puts his hand on her waist, and says of course, because with her around, they will certainly win. The girl seems to be feeling a bizarre sensation again. Nearby, the demon goddess realizes that that body without a heart is reaching its limit. Sadiel is worried about her mistress while she asks if the demon hasn't killed the human yet. Daphne thinks that if it were before, she would have punched and thrown the guy away, but now she made this suggestion. She wonders if it's to eliminate the demons quickly, or if it's because she can't resist the desires she is feeling. She says she doesn't have any time left, so she gives her soul to Sadiel and tells her to make the boss eat. She intends to use his powers to get her heart back, even if his body can only hold on for a few seconds. Sadiel ponders the fact that the human will probably die there, and the demon goddess says she seems too worried about that human, but she says no and that she feels nothing but disgust for those humans. Nearby, our hero defends himself as best as he can. He realizes he is in trouble and that even having increased his power, it is still not enough. The creatures attack the two again and hit them. She holds our hero and blocks the monster's attack. Then the boy realizes he is quite well protected in that situation, but they go far and fall to the bottom of the room. The girl notices those feelings are coming back, while the demon realizes it is a great opportunity. It seems our hero got hurt, poor thing, or maybe there is another reason for that. She apologizes for hurting him and says it was an accident. The creatures concentrate their energy, saying they will kill both with just one attack. Then they throw that energy sphere at them, and the powerful attack crosses the area, destroying the entire room. It hits its target with an explosion, and the duo of demons watches the result. They comment that those humans have certainly turned to ashes now. That girl stepped forward and protected our boy once again, but her armor is completely breaking, and it seems she overdid it a bit. She is worried if our hero is okay, but it seems he has broken a few ribs, so she will fight for him. Determined, she prepares to take on the responsibility of the fight. Strangely, she increasingly feels the urge to be close to our boy, and she looks at him with an enormous desire to hug him. She says that her armor has broken, so she asks him to come over and hug her tightly. Because she doesn't want the demon to see her body, she needs someone to cover it since she will use both hands. Therefore, it would be better if he took care of her body while she fights. Daphne continues trying to control herself as she is having somewhat strange thoughts. She thinks she is a level 5 warrior and will definitely be able to control her desire. He walks, feeling a lot of pain, and says he needs Lilia to heal. Then it seems that what she is feeling is just a desire to protect him, but of course we know that this is just a story. She goes to him with her arms outstretched and says that protecting the weaker is her duty as a warrior. Suddenly, that pair of demons is already upon them, but she manages to leap away, ensuring the safety of both. She flies through the air with the boy clinging to her and feels as if she is burning inside. As a warrior, she knows she must resist these challenges. Our hero will be in a position there, being crushed, but it seems like it would be a great position for anyone. She feels that his body is not only soft but also firm and strong. She explains that she is hugging him to protect herself and that he shouldn't think too much about it. Our MC says that both of them have pure hearts and that is necessary to defeat the beast. That creature begins to multiply again. It seems that the creature has made a few more but has reached its limit. The girl comments that he has multiplied again, and our hero thinks about staying there a little longer to get stronger. Sadiel remembers the words of the demon goddess saying that if she dies, Sadiel will die too. Then she reflects a bit on that. Looking at that little mushroom in her hand, the demon goddess says that when she recovers her heart, she will reward her in a supreme way. Sadiel leaves the place agreeing with that. Whenever she closes her eyes, she can peek outside using her power. Then she asks Sadiel not to let her down. Satho finds it strange that she doesn't like hugs, but Sadiel says she is not used to physical contact. But she says that she is too weak and does not feel attraction for her, and that she only serves as a guard dog. At that point, she starts to find that goddess more disgusting than a human. Back in the fight, Daphne asks our MC to hold on tight to her, and she continues the battle against the creatures in the meantime. Our boy is stuck there among those huge things while gaining a lot of upgrades. The fight continues with her delivering a powerful kick to deflect the monster's sword. Cyrus hugs her even tighter, gaining more additional points. The demon gets angry and attacks again. He strikes again while roaring furiously, but Daphne manages to hold that attack in time. As she struggles to defend herself, our hero is being crushed there. The terminal says he gains another level but can barely breathe in the midst of it all. The monster does not give them a break. The woman realizes she cannot move and that her energy is being drained. The demon says he will kill them for the love of his goddess and that even sacrificing a physical clone is fine with him. Then they begin to concentrate that powerful attack again, but this time the girl is without any armor. Then he screams for both of them to go to hell. Our hero is now level 25 and has plenty of attribute points. The demon seems not to believe it when our MC frees himself from his restraints and says that now it is his turn. He lands a punch on that creature with great force, and the monster flies far away until it hits the wall. The wall breaks and he falls near Sadiel, who wonders if he has been defeated. Daphne says that her strength has been completely drained, but Ceres says that now it is his turn to protect her. That bunch of clones starts attacking him, and that large sphere of energy approaches the two again. He attacks in response, telling it to taste his level 25 fist, and with one punch, he dissipates all that energy, sending the clones flying away. They try to hold their ground against the impact of the explosion. The girl wonders when it became so powerful. Sadiel observes the whole scene. The demon goddess says it is time to make him eat her soul and wonders what she is waiting for. Then she remembers that little mushroom again. She tenses up and hesitates for a moment. She angrily says she never said she wanted to be his girl. While throwing that soul, she says the goddess disgusts her. Sathos is furious, asking how she dares to try to break her soul while hitting her own arm against the wall. Sadiel screams, feeling his pulse being shattered. Then that demon goddess begins to prepare her teleportation. She appears right above them and grabs his soul, advancing and throwing it into the mouth of the clone of that demon. This causes him to end up swallowing it. Then the creature rises, writhing, leaving our hero surprised. Something begins to happen with that demon goddess, and he realizes that now there are two. Daphne tells him to look behind, and he wonders how many more will appear. The system seems to have marked which one is the real one. Then, opening the map, he sees that there are several points scattered, and that all of them are real. She says that in 1 minute she will suck his heart back from that body. Then she appears before that powerful girl, and Daphne instantly launches an attack, which is easily blocked by the demon goddess. She is surprised that the woman holds her attack so easily, and makes a motion with one hand, saying that she is in her way. The girl flies to the side and crashes against the wall, with our hero shouting her name. She falls unconscious in the middle of that pile of rubble. The terminal shows that he has a chance to activate the ability to kill Azathoth, and it seems that there are several of them now, and all are real. He feels a bit tense as he observes that huge sword on the ground. The demon goddess asks if he wants to fight her now, and the terminal shows that he is immune to all her attacks. That creature says she never intended to attack him or cause pain, and instead wants to make him experience absurd pleasure. She adds that he is trapped with her now, and without much strength, he won't be able to escape. Then Sathos says that pleasure is not bad, so the system will not interfere. She explains that she will take his heart back, and he will feel immense pleasure but will die afterward. Our MC screams that he has no interest in her, and that he only has eyes for beautiful women. Sathos explains that his body will tell the truth, and she is quite confident about that. Then she approaches him with that huge mouth of hers. He screams desperately, telling her to let him go. Then suddenly, Sadiel appears, hitting the demon goddess with a tackle. Sathos is very surprised that the girl did that. Then she tells him that the woman can only maintain this form for a few more seconds, telling him to run. He makes the move and frees himself from that demon, and thinks that he has finally managed to break free, questioning Azathoth, who only has a few seconds left. Sathos wants to know why the girl helped, and she says it might be because she needs to repay the favor of the mushroom, and she confesses that she doesn't want to see this human die. Our hero is very surprised by her attitude. Then the demon goddess tells her to die. At that moment, our hero activates something, and in the next instant, the girl is no longer in front of the demon goddess. She suddenly falls in front of Yus at our MC's house. Yus is startled to think that someone just fell from above. She stammers, questioning if it's Sadiel, who also can't believe she is alive. The demon goddess realizes that she can no longer feel the girl because she is completely out of her reach, but she knows that her time is running out and cannot afford to worry about that now. Cyrus realizes that the weapon is ridiculously heavy, and he can barely hold it with both hands. Sathos mocks him, saying that the weapon won't make a difference because she can end him with sheer brute force. Then our hero activates his attack ability, passing through the women, and continues to strike with his sword against them. Sathos says that because of the system's influence she can't, but he also can't hurt her. Our guy says he never said he wanted to fight, he will just dodge her attacks, but she says he is an idiot for thinking he can escape using that ability, which has a 10-second cooldown. Then all the demon goddesses come to him, saying that there is nowhere to run. At that moment, he locks his aim on the woman. That furniture quickly moves away from them again. Sathos seems not to understand how he managed to use the ability ahead of time. He explains that since each clone is real, he can lock his aim on each of them and use the ability once. So if she wants to catch him, she will need to undo her clones, or they will continue playing like this. He adds that he knows his time is running out, and the demon goddess knows she's in trouble now. He thinks it's a humiliation, but she can just leave and find another body to continue. She knows the system is on his side now, and soon he will have enough power to overcome her. Suddenly, she leaps from the ground straight to the ceiling like a beam of light. He wonders if she is trying to escape, and that bunch of demon goddesses rises in the form of light. She used her clone ability to split her body into several small fragments. Then, reaching the top, she explodes into several luminous pieces. That bunch of small fragments flies through space, and our hero is very surprised that she just exploded. Several demons begin to receive those fragments, that is her harem, and she is granting the power of her spirit to them, asking them to kill the human who was pursuing her, then finally restore her. Cyrus says that Azathoth is now gone. He receives a new quest to gather her fragments and recover her life. Suddenly, the head of that creature falls in front of him, and he realizes that nothing is left but that piece right there. The terminal shows that he can now store some items, and he decides to keep that thing, who knows why. Nearby, Daphne seems to still be alive and starts to cough a little. He runs to the girl and begins to help her. She is in shock from being knocked out just by the shockwave of that, and our young man tells him to just get out of there now. Nearby, the raid group seems to still be alive, to our surprise, but the captain is desperate, knowing that as soon as he returns, his brother will rip his head off. Then they notice our hero and the super powerful woman coming with him. One of the guys points to the duo approaching, leaving Cyrus surprised that they are still alive. He thinks that if he begs, Daphne might grant him a bit of glory and keep his title as captain. So he approaches humbly, asking if she has dealt with the monsters and if she could do something. It seems that the girl is not very keen on talking, and when she speaks, she tells our hero that she doesn't want anyone to know what happened in there, because if he dares to say anything, she will beat him up. Then she gains momentum and flies out of that place. Cyrus thinks that woman really has a sharp tongue. She continues on her way flying. While thinking about all those strange situations she just went through, she can't believe she is thinking about so much nonsense. She curses for not being able to stop thinking about our hero. Sometime later, at the guild headquarters in Area Z, in a meeting, the group questions the fact that Cyrus has failed twice and tells him to shut up and not want to hear any excuses. Then Blaze, who is the judge, tells him to be quiet because he hasn't asked him anything yet. He says that if he dares to interrupt again, he will throw him in prison, and if he dares to lie before them, he will be thrown into hell. He wants him to explain how he failed. Cyrus explains that the mission failed because they couldn't defeat the boss, and that was Cyrus's fault. Meanwhile, our hero enters that building. Then he opens his terminal, and to the surprise of the people around, he takes the head of the monster. He explains that Cyrus wanted to take all the credit at the expense of others, and that he himself sacrificed his leg to save his team. He recounts that every time the boy encounters a monster, he trembles all over and has no courage whatsoever. And besides that, the guy never followed his orders even while under his command, adding that he is just dead weight. The judge orders the city to be put on alert too because the monster may counterattack and detain Cyrus for interrogation. The captain says that if it weren't for that idiot getting in the way, he would have gotten the monster's head. Nearby, our hero throws that head. It crashes into the room, breaking the wall behind that fool. He glances back just as that head hits him squarely like a bullet. The people in the meeting see that thing rolling through the room along with Cyrus. They stand up, stammering about what that is until they realize it's the head of that boss, and they see that the one entering is Cyrus himself. Suddenly, he turns around and leaves. From behind, someone calls out to Cyrus, who looks terrified. The judge then demands that he repeat what he was saying. Desperate, he says he can explain this. As our hero is leaving the building, he encounters something curious. Lillian is waiting for him and says that it is the High Priestess who is summoning him. He feels a bit awkward asking if it's now, but the woman explains that she learned about his poison and that she intends to cure him of it. Meanwhile, in a mansion, Daphne is punching a heavy bag. She beats it relentlessly while remembering what she gave to our hero. She becomes quite irritated and embarrassed as she can't get those images out of her head. Realizing that punching it isn't enough to rid herself of the images, she needs to focus her mind differently. Someone approaches, questioning her dear sister because they heard the mission failed. Dai Lai says she also heard that she was helped by a mere rank F, and she provokes her by mentioning Daphne's refusal to accept help. Daphne gets very annoyed that those people are there, but the girl provokes her again, saying that acting like this will ruin her skin. She cuts off that pink-haired girl and asks what she really wants there since this matter is none of her business. Dai Lai says she just heard that she failed and wanted to see with her own eyes, besides having something to tell her. She explains that people usually develop their brains, questioning if she only developed her limbs, but Daphne says she's not sure if the girl's brain developed either. She says at least she didn't develop her appearance, provoking her. The girl gets furious and asks Rokuro to take care of her, but he says he's just a butler and doesn't have permission for that. Daphne says if she wants to resolve this, she just needs to jump in. The pink-haired girl gets furious. Reluctantly, she says she wouldn't lower herself that much and orders her butler to follow. Suddenly, a huge weight comes flying toward them, but Rokuro notices it in time and acts. He creates a bizarre giant hand and catches that weight as if it were a toy. Then he crushes it, and the girl doesn't even turn to see what's happening. Finally, she turns around and asks what that breeze was, but the guy says it was just an insect flying by, and the girl is filled with disgust, telling him to wash his hands. Daphne watches this with a look of superiority. The girl, smiling, says she will take everything that woman loves, and Cyrus is now hers. Sometime later, they're in the church. Someone tells our guy that he has permission to enter because the High Priestess is waiting for him. He proceeds, but Lilia seems worried about something. At the last moment, she tells him to wait and asks him not to enter. He doesn't understand anything and asks if he shouldn't enter since the woman called him. But Lilia says no, and that this is a mistake. However, he opens those huge gates and sees a woman sitting there in the middle. She introduces herself as Seraphina, and says she is the high priestess of that church. Then she points with her foot to a chair as if to tell him to sit, and says she wants to talk to him face to face. He feels a bit tense about the situation. Seraphina says she heard about the poison in his body, and that poison rapidly destroys the human body. Then she adds that his body has merged with it but shortened his life, and he is surprised that she has researched so much. Then suddenly, she shoves that foot in his mouth, telling him not to interrupt her while she is speaking. She removes her foot while he watches. She says that if the beast consumed this, it could bring a catastrophe for humanity, so she needs to do something. Seraphina says she has decided that she will consume it herself, suddenly approaching him. He gets scared and pushes her away. Even though they are both human, the woman seems like she wants to eat him, and that's a bit crazy. But in the next moment, he realizes something, and he sees several tentacles coming out of that woman, then wonders if she is actually a monster. She said she could be a monster but is on the side of humanity, and for its sake needs to consume him. Cyrus says there's no way he's going to become anyone's snack, then locks his aim on her and chooses a card. He picks a random card. Then he receives an angelic glove that, if it touches the enemy, will unleash a shockwave, improving depending on where it touches. She shows a fragment of that demon goddess and says that only that in this world can save him. Then she eats it as if it were a candy, saying that thing is really delicious, while our hero notices that those tentacles have a somewhat suggestive appearance. What she wants is enough power to trap people like cattle and have everyone worship her sacred religion. She wants to create a world without corruption, but Cyrus realizes that her intention is not very good and will not let her devour him. But the woman laughs, asking if he thinks he can escape from her. Then those suggestive tentacles move in his direction, but our hero dodges those things. He touches them thinking they are part of the creature's body. He realizes she has only 1% sensitivity, but still wants to test the power of the glove. Then he unleashes a shockwave against those things. It seems to have only made a scratch, so he will need to look for some more sensitive areas to have an effect. But our hero slips up and starts getting wrapped up by the tentacle. In the next moment, he is lifted off the ground while that creature watches him. She pulls him close and asks if she can start the snack. At that moment, she realizes he is injured and says she can hardly wait to taste him. Then she puts her mouth on that wound, leaving our hero a bit embarrassed, while the woman says his flavor resembles azathoth. The woman seems to be enjoying this a lot, saying that not even a monster can resist this temptation. He feels a bit tense as it seems those tentacles have started to pulse with this. He tries to make a move to get rid of it as soon as possible. He struggles a lot because he is not close enough and realizes there is a sensitivity of 15% there. She wants to know why the hell he is having such dirty thoughts if she is talking about devouring him. Then he realizes there is no other way and that this must be the most sensitive part of her body. He decides to use his final move to reach that. Struggling hard, he manages to touch the woman. Then he goes in search of his freedom. The woman tries to react, saying she will break his hand. He continues feeling around and seems to be getting there. Then he tells her to try his trick. But in the next moment, she manages to react, kicking him and throwing him away. It seems he was really on the right track. He realizes that each attack consumes all his energy, so he needs to keep touching her to deal significant damage. The priestess notices her legs are trembling, that the boy is somewhat annoying, but she feels a tingling throughout her body. She gets furious, saying it is unforgivable for him to touch her like that in this sacred place. Then she attacks again with the tentacles, and our MC realizes that only 14% is probably not enough. He needs to try to gain an advantage by getting closer to her, so he decides not to dodge anymore. He uses the gloves to become almost a rocket and heads toward her. And for the sake of humanity, he needs to move forward and make contact with a woman. Then he manages to reach her back without her noticing his movement, and jumps toward her, preparing to grab her. It seems our hero will succeed this time. She notices him touching her at the last moment. Cyrus is surprised because it seems her weak point is not there. She reacts by calling him a reckless fool, and again kicks him away toward her tentacles. He knows the situation is getting tense. If it continues like this, she will devour him. There is only 6% left, but he believes it might be enough to gain one more boost. Finally, it seems he has some idea, but the tentacle swallows him almost completely. The woman says he is no longer attacking and believes he has just given up on everything. While he is being swallowed by the tentacle, the woman says there's no way and that he will be consumed. The monster starts to freak out because she has never tasted something so delicious. Our hero, inside the tentacle, tries to touch it to see what happens, and something different happens, causing the woman to lose control. She wonders what this guy is doing inside her tentacles. She screams, losing control over what is happening, and that slimy tentacle spits our boy out. He seems happy to be outside because it was kind of stinky inside. He realizes he has achieved 25% sensitivity, and since there are 4 tentacles, he should be able to get everything. The monstrous priestess starts having some impure thoughts, which will cause her magic to fail. She is determined to eliminate and eat the boy. He notices that those tentacles have changed a little and are now full of teeth. Then that thing attacks him, and even though it is the same tentacle, it seems to be much faster than before. Cyrus realizes he is being surrounded by them. It is at that moment, being attacked from behind, that he will test if he can increase his sensitivity. So when that thing goes to bite him, he shoves his hand inside its mouth, and the woman nearby lets out a little scream. He was indeed right, and inside there is another 25% sensitivity. She screams for him to stop touching her inside, calling him a disgusting bastard. Then something bizarre comes out of that thing and pushes our hero out. He crashes against the wall, making a mess. He gets up, somewhat injured, and realizes that the sensitivity hasn't increased. It remains at 25%. She is furious, saying she will crush and devour him, but our MC concentrates his energy and unleashes a shockwave against those things. This time, the woman had to dodge. She notices that the boy is not joking around and that after touching her, he managed to create that wave of light, and she also realizes that he is getting stronger with each attack. Our hero is puzzled because he hasn't found her weak point yet and has to try to get close again. So he shouts that it is for the good of humanity that he will risk his life and explore her body. She is incredulous that he can maintain that saintly look while saying such a load of atrocities. With a leap, he approaches that woman all at once, and he decides he will start with those big things over there. But at that moment, purple smoke spreads throughout the area. She uses the tentacles to protect herself from that savior of humanity. Cyrus realizes he is being attacked by a somewhat pungent mist. He believes she is using that disgusting smoke to hide, but his angelic gauntlet is not charged yet, so he will have to rely on his physical abilities. Our boy starts to feel a bit dizzy and wonders if that smoke is paralyzing him, when suddenly one of the tentacles appears and hits him squarely. It seems that thing is sucking him from the inside. When he goes to grab that disgusting thing, the tentacle retreats back into the smoke, so it seems the woman doesn't want him to touch her. His suspicions were correct. She confirms that he will soon be paralyzed, and then she will do whatever she wants with him. Our hero is getting dizzier. The priestess says that when he touches her, he can use the shockwave of light, so she won't let that happen again. He notices movement from the tentacles on his right side. As he prepares to intercept that thing, he doesn't notice another tentacle coming from behind. Too late, he realizes it was just a trick, and that the real attack was coming from the other side. The woman seems to have focused on his left, but this gives him a great opportunity to touch her. But the tentacle seems to throw him up, spinning. He falls to the ground like a sack of potatoes. She is surprised by his resilience, but thought that with that bite, she would be able to rip off one of his arms. The woman believes that now that he has breathed in enough of that gas, he will no longer be able to move. Then that tentacle flies toward him to finish him off. It hits him squarely with a bite. She gets excited because after ripping off his arm, she will be able to savor it slowly, and she will enjoy every drop of that liquid that drips from him. All battered, he asks if she is sure about this, and he says that his ability is not in his right hand but in his glove. The guy switched the arm glove and is now back inside her. That monster screams again, feeling the pressure. Then the tentacle starts to tremble and releases our boy's arm ready. Soon after, he unleashes a massive shockwave toward the holy monster. Sirius realizes that this monster has a very particular structure, but it is still quite similar to a human, and that the internal structure is fundamentally different from theirs. He advances again, ready to touch her. He notices that she has more sensitive areas in unexpected places. He hits the girl and now reaches 38% sensitivity. He is a bit surprised that his weak point is not there yet. He counterattacks and realizes he is very vulnerable in that position. Now she is really angry and screams for him to stay away from her. She lands a kick on our hero, sending him flying. Then she steps back, sending her tentacles toward him. Cyrus points his glove to take advantage of the percentage he gained. He fires another powerful shockwave at that bizarre creature. She notices that the light attack is advancing again, and she puts up supports in front to absorb the attack. But still, she feels that his power has increased, and she is hit squarely by that enormous light attack. The columns around and the ground begin to shatter. Outside, Lilia notices that something is very wrong happening, coming to the conclusion that a fight is going on inside. Inside, our hero feels the pressure of that battle while the priestess observes from afar. It seems he is regaining consciousness as the pink smoke is dispersing. Seraphina says that his attacks are not enough to hurt her. Cyrus knows she has become stronger after drinking his liquid, so he needs to find an even more sensitive spot. He looks at the woman from head to toe, wondering where it could be. It seems there is something strange. Even when he is within reach of her hands, she preferred to kick him. And when she found him some time ago, she covered his mouth with her feet, not with her hands. The creature says she won't let him touch her again and wants to know why he doesn't just stay quiet and let her drain everything. Lilia enters at that moment and questions whether the High Priestess is planning to consume Ceres. But the woman asks why Lilia is there and tells her to get lost. The girl says she was only supposed to seal him inside the church if she couldn't remove the toxin, and let him die inside the church. Lilia says that according to the teachings, they cannot harm any living being, but the chief tells her not to be so strict with the rules. But it seems the reason for this is that she wants the boy's power to bring all of humanity into the religion. She says she will become the supreme leader while Lilia will take over as High Priestess, so she should just keep her mouth shut. Then Lilia says she will report this to the Holy See and asks Cyrus to accompany her. Furious, the priestess says she doesn't care about consuming both of them, saying that she is very stubborn. Our hero jumps toward the girl, pushing her to save her from the attack. As a result, he is hit squarely and thrown against the wall. That thing hits him hard, injuring him greatly. The woman realizes that her movements are very slow and that she must be reaching her limit. He falls to the ground, realizing he has suffered internal injuries this time, and it seems his body will collapse soon. But suddenly, a little foot appears near him. She says that her magic will help him stay well, and realizing it is working, he asks for more. But she says she can't use too much, or else she would leave him completely numb. Determined, he gets up, saying she can inject everything he can handle. The High Priestess says that it is a waste of time for Lilia. Then she sends her tentacle and hits our hero again while wrapping the girl. The woman says she really doesn't want to kill her, and if she promises not to say anything, she will let her go, and that she shouldn't waste her life on an insignificant man. Lilia says he is not insignificant but her patient, and she needs to do everything to help him until the end. The chief says that then she will make him die in front of her, and continues to press him with that tentacle. Suddenly, Seraphina seems to have a strange body and feels a bit dizzy. Then she removes that tentacle from the boy. She seems to be really feeling something, while Ceres doesn't waste time and charges at her. The woman is caught off guard by that attack, and with both hands he grabs the priestess's hands. He realizes he has achieved 100% sensitivity. She lets out a loud scream as the terminal shows that he has found that point. Then his ultimate is locked. Desperate, she thinks that she won't allow anyone to touch her hand so he won't get close, and that this hand belongs only to Azathoth. She continues screaming desperately because of that good feeling. Cyrus realizes that the thing is working while she thinks her name is Gylea, the carnivorous plant, and that all her sensitive nerves are in her hand. She also releases Lilia without any delicacy. The sensation feels like an electric shock that goes from her hand to her brain. She starts screaming, demanding to be let go, but our hero does not release her. Lilia thinks that our hero is forcing her to be purified by expelling everything from her body. The High Priestess begins to lose control, and she thinks she will never allow him to become food for another monster, revealing her true form and saying that she will bite his head off herself. It seems that Glove has started to tremble quite a bit. He thinks that his strength is running out and wonders if it's because of Lilia's magic. That creature says it has to devour him so that humanity has a safe future under its command. Our hero bites his own hand. With energy manifesting again, he says he refuses. That creature seems to have been caught off guard, and he unleashes a close-range, powerful wave of luminous shock. That powerful energy attack passes by the other priestess, shattering the walls of the church and heading into infinity and beyond. Lillian is left speechless, watching that. She wonders what kind of magic he used, seeing the huge hole that formed in the wall. With that maneuver, he ends up breaking a tooth, and it hurts a lot. Finally, he managed to defeat the target and obtained one of the Azathoth fragments, increasing his life by 34 days. Now he has 80 days. It seems that what remained of her has turned into a cute carnivorous plant, and our hero gains the ability to use that toxic mist. He asks the priestess if she is okay. In disbelief, the girl asks if he killed the High Priestess, and he says no, that she merely reverted to her original form. Lilia says she understands and that it's all right. The girl tries to poke the plant with her finger, but it almost bites it off. He thinks it's relief, but it seems something is wrong with him. Then he collapses, fainting in the girl's lap. She notices that his body temperature is not right and that she needs to help him quickly, because if she doesn't do this, he will really be in danger. So she sits down and begins to repair his internal organs. She places those little feet on top of him, and in a moment he is transported to another location with his clothes all torn. Cyrus awakens, wondering what is happening and why everything has turned to mud. She explains that it is the physical manifestation of his injuries and that his body is extremely fragile now. That mud is very strong and prevents him from moving, and it feels like he is getting colder and colder. The girl explains that it is absorbing his energy, so she tells him to try to relax his body completely. She says she will rub that mud off his body with her feet, or else the temperature will mess up his body. Then she steps on him gently and begins to rub her foot, making him warmer. It seems that his body is uncoiling from that mud. Lilia realizes that the feeling from before is returning again, and she tries to control herself. Like a saint, she uses healing magic, but the more impure thoughts she has, the weaker her magic becomes. She wants to finish healing him before those evil thoughts consume her completely. Cyrus feels that his body is getting warm again. The girl starts to really enjoy the situation, and those evil thoughts begin to sprout again. It seems that our hero is finally managing to get up. She reports that his internal injuries are healed, and now she needs to make the energy return to his body. She asks him to open his mouth, inserting that little foot inside. He has a vision of a huge chocolate cake. Then she tells him to eat anything he sees. The next step is crucial and will be a test of his faith, because she cannot lose concentration. He holds her foot, saying that the cake is very tasty. The girl seems to be losing control again, wishing he wouldn't use his tongue. Lilia realizes that he can absorb energy quite quickly, but if he continues like this, he will wake up in pain all over and completely wrecked, so she needs to make him take it easy. This is the crucial moment and can make the energy fill his entire body completely. It seems she is stepping on the boy's toy, but she explains that it is a necessary thing as part of this treatment. She says that in this treatment, she will need to use both feet. Her magic begins to falter a bit. Lilia repeats to herself that she is a priestess and cannot lose control to these evil thoughts. She tells him to eat quickly, thinking that she can't hold on much longer. Then he holds her foot as if he is eating something very tasty. She seems to be feeling quite ticklish because he is using his tongue, and he continues to hold on there as if it were something very enjoyable, making it hard for the girl to maintain her focus. She asks that his teachings to the church help to ward off that kind of bad thought, requesting that he shows innocence to others and treats them with sincerity because lust is something evil. He must practice moderation to promote purity and suppress evil things while being faithful to the principles. Suddenly, our hero says he is done there. She adds that the treatment is complete, realizing that her magic is still there and that she really succeeded. Cyrus sits down, asking if he is ready, and she confirms. Suddenly, a huge green energy surges around her. It seems she has never had such a big energy boost before. It is twice what he is used to, and he wonders what is happening. Cyrus says that the woman is great because not only is she healed, but she is also feeling fantastic. He already thinks that maybe he can help her become an archbishop. She tells him that if he gets hurt, even if it's just a scratch, he should remember to come back there to be healed. Sometime later, the director and his secretary wonder what on earth that giant hole is in the church, and they meet at the door with the priestess and our hero coming out from inside. The two cross paths, both surprised to find each other there. With the information exchange, he questions in surprise that the priestess is gone. Lilia says that she needs a new archbishop before continuing with the collaboration, but he can go there to discuss the details. And as soon as she takes office, they can skip several steps. Our MC says he doesn't want to bother them, so he says he will see the director later, but he asks the girl to accompany him and update him. He becomes curious, asking what happened. On the way back, the girl says that a strange beast has appeared in the city, and that it only kills warriors. In fact, several A-rank warriors have already been drained and killed by it. He is a bit surprised that it is a beast that sucks the liquid from people. It seems that besides feeding, it also tears off the toys from their faces and writes on them the words, "It's not you?" She says it seems that the creature is looking for someone. Our hero quietly thinks it must be after him. To avoid panic, Daphne is leading the investigation to hunt the demon. Elsewhere, Sadiel enters through the window cursing. Yus asks why she came back there, and the girl says she is surrounded by warriors and cannot escape. Suspicious, she questions if the girl wants to live there too. But Sadiel says that it is the enemy's base, and if she gets caught, she will be killed. Plus, she will cause problems for that human. Yes boasts that she knows how to use transformation magic, so she won't get caught. The girl thinks that she cannot use magic to change her appearance, she just needs to find a place to hide. Suddenly, she coughs and seems to be injured. She falls to the ground, fainted, and Yus becomes worried. Suddenly, she realizes that the girl might be pretending just to stay there, and that she won't share her master with her. It seems that at the moment the demon goddess was defeated, something happened to her even though she was teleported. Our hero tells the secretary to come in and sit down to tell her more about the vampire beast, then tells Yus that they have arrived. Daisy is surprised because her sister's name is quite different, and Yus inside realizes that her master is coming back. Yus grabs the girl, saying that she needs to hide her and that after she wakes up, she has to get out of that house. Our hero opens the door, and his maid is about to welcome them. Then he asks the secretary to come in while Yus just observes quietly. Daisy apologizes for bothering her. Yus feels a bit irritated because it's another woman again. The secretary believes it is an opportunity to meet Cirrus since last time she let her emotions take over. Meanwhile, Yus thinks she needs to find a way to make this woman leave. After a while, he questions how that vampire beast appeared, and she begins to explain about a dragon that emerged, and the guild sent several people to evacuate, so as the city became empty, the beast took advantage. Daisy says that last time she forgot something important, and our hero becomes curious. She is a bit nervous and says that as the secretary of the vice president, she has the duty to know what life is like for the warriors in the area so she can help them better. Then she asks him to fill out that form. She hands it over while thinking that she made that form especially for him, and asks him for a lot of personal information about what he expects from his meetings and love. He doesn't quite understand the question and whether he has to fill out all that information, even about a possible partner. If she laughs, she explains that it's a normal process that every captain goes through and that it needs to be filed with the guild. But her idea is to get to know him well so she can please him more than Yus. Suddenly, out of nowhere, a noise comes from the room. Daisy questions if there is someone in the room, while Sadiel wonders how there is another human there. Then our hero gets curious and goes to see what is happening. He is surprised to see Sadiel, and she asks him to close the door quickly. She is very worried about being discovered there and having several warriors show up, so she wants to kill the woman. Our hero doesn't want the woman to die, and Sadiel clearly gets jealous, asking if she is important to him. Daisy questions who is in the boys' room, and Yus says it is the other sister. She gets a little worried because if there are two sisters, she could be the third in his heart's ranking. Sadiel is somewhat irritated and tells him to take care of the girl before she sees her. She is concerned about the boy shouting inside, but Yus says he can handle it. Cyrus leaves there somewhat worried, questioning how she can hit him and still be so strong. Then he goes back to the table and signs the form. He tells the girl that he has filled everything out and asks her to take it to the guild. He feels a bit awkward and comments that there is a very good restaurant outside. Then he asks if he would like to eat there with her, and the boy agrees, leaving Yus somewhat suspicious. Suddenly, the girl grabs a snack and says that according to her schedule, it is time for him to have a snack, and she accidentally drops that cookie right on top of everything. He turns red while she holds his head. Yus says she worked hard to make that and won't let him go until he finishes. Daisy turns red and horrified by the scene. He is quite shy and unresponsive. Cyrus says that the cookies are strange and asks what they are made of, and Yus says it was made with bat wings. She says there are more there and he needs to open his mouth, while our hero tries to refuse. Daisy questions if this is how the boy usually eats, and he awkwardly says no. But Yus says he does this all the time and likes it a lot. If she doesn't enjoy watching, she should leave. Somewhat upset, she says she will leave then, thinking that they are really very close. Suddenly, someone is knocking on her door. and Dai Li with her butler tells Cirrus to open the door. Yes gets even more irritated because it is the voice of another girl while she crushes our hero's head. She becomes somewhat impatient that no one is opening the door and asks her butler Roy to take care of it. Then the boy puts his hand on the door using his power and breaks a piece of it. Thus, the door easily opens, and she says they didn't go to welcome their guest. He gets very angry, cursing her for breaking his door. That door was somewhat expensive, and he is quite upset about it, wanting to hit them. But the girl says she will pay 1,000 gold coins for the door, and he suddenly stops. Our nice boy accepts that and asks what he can do for them, and she offers 500,000 for him to work for her. Cyrus is shocked by that absurd amount of money. Yes wonders why so many women are showing up in our hero's garden and finds it annoying. Daisy tells him not to accept because they are from Zone D, and Dai Li questions the queen if that will be a problem. She gets irritated for being called queen and says he is super important to Zone Z. In another location, Daphne and another guy investigate another dead body with its bodily fluids drained, and he tells Daphne that Lady Dai Li went to visit Cirrus, leaving the girl irritated by this. Daphne says she needs to resolve something important and that they should finish that area while keeping her informed. Especially if they encountered the vampire beast, she doesn't want them to fight but to call her. Sometime later she lands on top of a building and thinks that she won't let that girl steal anything from her again, and that Cirrus's house is in Zone Z. Out of nowhere, a giant hand emerges among the buildings, breaking everything. A huge dragon appears in the middle of the city. That giant creature is hungry. It roars terrifyingly, showcasing its power. The heroes wonder why no one kills him, but it seems that no one can hurt him, so all that's left is to evacuate the people. The newcomers want to know why everyone doesn't just move away, but it seems the dragon hides many treasures, and as long as he doesn't threaten the guild city, they don't need to worry about killing him. The secretary wants to know how they dared to steal from the captain of Zone Z, and Dai Li, who pays well, has nothing to say. Then she asks Cirrus what he has to say. He knows there's no such thing as a free lunch in this world, so he questions what she wants him to do. First, she wants to know how he broke Daphne's principles, and then she wants to know everything about what happened in that dungeon. Cyrus, suspicious, wants to know if she wants something more, and the girl replies that of course she does. She wants to spread the incident on a TV program and make Daphne as embarrassed as possible. Cyrus says he understands, then responds that he refuses. The girl gets furious, asking why he refuses the 500,000 coins, claiming it must be his only chance to have that much money. He explains that he promised Daphne he wouldn't tell anything, and if the girl has nothing else to say, he wants her to leave. Dai Li thinks money solves everything, so what he must want is just more money. While she makes her last offer, Daphne arrives flying, calling his name. The girl turns around surprised by what she sees, and the woman comes flying at high speed towards her. Furious, she approaches, saying to stay away from Cyrus. Then she delivers a powerful attack that is blocked by his butler. A shockwave spreads through the corridor. He says there's no need for her to punch Lady Dai Li like that, but Daphne replies that it's none of his business. Daisy thinks Daphne is also interested in their contested Missy. She says the girl flew there quickly, questioning if it's a lack of confidence or if she doesn't believe Cyrus will keep his word. But our hero strikes his best pose, showing he has kept his word. Daphne smiles, thinking he is strong and resisted the temptation of money, but she notices something strange. Those things are abnormally large, and she realizes there's something fishy going on. She explains that there are things that cannot be bought with money, and that increasing those things shows her lack of confidence. And she provokes her, saying they are artificial, but the girl gets irritated, stating that they have always been like that. It seems she gives up and calls her butler to leave. She thinks Daphne has some secret, and that she will find out, and that she will return this humiliation. Daphne says that if her sister shows up again, she can expel her, and our hero realizes that, at the very least, they admire each other. On the communicator, she hears that they found the vampire beast. It is in Zone Li, and is a white-haired demon. The girl says she has something to do and says goodbye, while Daisy also understands the hint. Without a minute of peace, Yus now shouts for him because it seems that Sadiel is sick. He becomes worried and asks what is wrong with her. He says her body temperature has dropped and that he cannot help the girl. It seems they are out of time, and she explains they would need an herb from a dungeon to help her. Cyrus becomes genuinely concerned about the girl. Remembering things that happened, he thinks that his blood might help her with this, so he cuts his hand and lets it drip into Sadiel's mouth. She starts to drink it. Yus seems to be in a trance watching that, but our hero's idea begins to work, and Sadiel finally awakens from that. It seems everything is peaceful again in Cyrus's house. Nearby, the dragon continues to wreak havoc. Suddenly, he turns around, thinking he smells something very sweet. The heroes notice he has changed direction, and that had not happened in hundreds of years. Desperate, the man realizes he is heading straight for the city and orders them to inform the guild immediately. That dragon suddenly changed its direction and is heading toward the city of Salem. The dragon thinks he smells something like Lord Sato's and that he really wants to absorb it. She looks at that, thinking the smell is incredible. Sadiel automatically holds our MC's hand, saying she cannot waste a single drop. Cyrus complains, saying the girl is pulling too strongly. He turns a little red and seems to feel ticklish. Yus is salivating at the sight of that, and she lunges at him, saying she needs to prove she cannot take it anymore. Our boy does not understand anything when she hugs him. She approaches that cut on his hand while leaning against it, and starts to drink together with the other girl. Being pressured by all that energy, he asks the two to stop because he can no longer feel his hand. It seems that liquid is really good, and after drinking it, they feel strong and full of energy. She is not surprised that it involves Sadiel, and she cannot even stop drinking it, when suddenly, an emergency alarm sounds in the city, and a high-level protective barrier is activated around her. While our boy seems about to faint, the girls look out the window, curious. He struggles to breathe and cling to his life. Sadiel puts her hand on her head and says she was quite distracted. Yus says that her magic seems to have diminished, and our hero gets up thanks to them having stopped. In the city, the alarm announces that the giant dragon named Beagle is heading there, and that everyone must evacuate immediately to the underground shelters, summoning all heroes to the city. Everyone must defend their home, and warriors who do not report within 3 hours will be expelled from the guild. Some time later, military vehicles race through the streets. The receptionist finds it strange that he is the only one in his squad, but since he became captain, he has not had time to form a team yet. It seems he needs 2 people to get a vehicle, and our hero will have to run for 100 miles. So his options are to recruit someone or join another squad, but time is short. A girl named Irene from Squad 14 offers him a ride, saying she would like to befriend a powerful warrior like him. She questions him, and then Cyrus says he is the captain of Squad 15, rank F. It seems the girl is a bit regretful now, because an F cannot be a captain, and she asks if he is joking. Then she turns around and says to pretend this conversation never happened, and that she does not want anyone to know she wasted time with a rank F. Out of nowhere, Bella appears, saying she wants to join Squad 15. He is surprised to see the girl after so long, and to see that she has left the hospital. She is a bit irritated that he did not go to visit her, and that she has heard many things about what he has been doing. Embarrassed, he says he has been quite busy, but she says it's no problem because now as captain, he has many commitments, but when this is over, they will have a good talk. The receptionist calls him to sign the papers, and he says he will be back quickly for his friend. The other girl teases him, saying she will be in trouble for being in a squad with a rank F captain. She adds that he is a captain because of connections with the vice director and not by merit. At that moment, it seems that the captain of that girl arrives at the location, and that disgusting captain appears in bizarrely impressive golden armor. He tells them to look at his new armor, and that this armor will make her stronger than Cyrus ever could. Then he says that for old time's sake, he will give her a chance. He orders her to leave Cyrus's squad and join his to follow a truly strong warrior. Then, in a slightly psychopathic manner, he says for her to join now, and he will give her a very powerful sword. But she apologizes and says she has already made her choice and is with Cyrus. And our MC appears, saying that everything is fine and that he needs her signature. She turns around all excited to attend to the boy. The guy gets really irritated, questioning what that kid has that he doesn't. The girl says she doesn't know how to recognize something good when she sees it and to leave that idiot alone. He tells her to watch out because they will soon need her help. But it seems that even after all this, there are no cars available for our MC, and he suggests that he talk to Captain Cyrus because he is sure they have space in their car. The guy is waiting for him there to humiliate him in front of Cyrus. He is full of jealousy because of the girl. Cyrus walks away a bit disheartened about needing the guy's help. He looks at the paper with Dialee's phone number and says he needs to make a call. Cyrus is a bit anxious because our hero hasn't come out yet, and he is eager to humiliate him. Finally, they start coming out, and someone informs the captain. He comments that Cyrus couldn't get a car, and our MC asks what the problem is. As he passes by, the guy drops his sword right in front of him. He falsely apologizes for dropping his rank S weapon and asks him to please pick it up. And if he does that, he can consider a spot for them in his car, joking that it's what rank F warriors do. Bella gets irritated with the guy's attitude, and the other woman says she has terrible taste in men. Cyrus says that any warrior who doesn't go to HQ will be expelled, so he wants her to think carefully about it. He adds that Cyrus doesn't have what it takes, and that he might end up going back to being a simple rank F again. Bella feels guilty because the guy is bothering him because of her, but suddenly, a loud sound fills the place, leaving the guy surprised, and a huge helicopter appears above them. They notice that there is a guild logo underneath it. Only VIP guilds have helicopters. They wonder how many missions they need to reach that point. Cyrus calls everyone's attention because that must be there for something big. The door opens, and everyone becomes anxious. Inside, Dai Li appears, telling Captain Cyrus to board. The crowd is upset that all of this is for Rank S Cyrus. Smiling, he tells Bella to move forward. Cyrus feels quite resentful seeing our MC boarding that helicopter. He tells the butler that they are ready to go, and in that moment, Cyrus realizes something. The guy shouts for our young man to return his Rank S sword. Jokingly, he says he almost forgot about that detail, and he returns it with a bit more anger. That weapon descends from the helicopter like a missile and hits the car, causing a huge explosion. They panic about the situation, and he tells the idiots to look for a new car now. In another location, some warriors face the vampire beast. It seems that this is the beast that has been draining all the warriors. She tests him and says that he is not what she is looking for, and that it is another human. She looks around, wondering who it could be. Then she decides that she will drain everyone so she can find what she is looking for, and the warriors there seem a bit apprehensive. One of them shouts that they are the guardians of the city, and that their duty is to protect it. Then that vampire beast lunges at them, and clearly everyone is scared. She grabs the guy in the middle, breaking his armor and weapon. Then she opens her mouth full of teeth, leaving the guy terrified. At that moment, Daphne falls between the two like a meteor. She stares at that demonic creature, and the vampire beast steps back a bit while the soldiers call for their captain. She warns them that they shouldn't have engaged in combat, and they say they did it because they thought she was going to the dragon. Not understanding anything, she is surprised that that demon from the dungeon is alive, and the beast asks if she knows her. Daphne says that the last time she got beaten up, but she doesn't seem so grand now, and the beast says she is collecting the fragments of her true self and is looking for a guy. Daphne concludes that since only she and Cyrus were in that dungeon, the demon is after the guy. So she says that if that's the case, she will stop that thing right here and now, adding that she won't let it get close to him. Our hero is surprised that all of that exists beneath the guild HQ, and Dai Li explains that they keep the dragon-slaying blades down there for emergencies. Then she questions it's not dangerous since that is a dungeon, but the girl says that only the sword is there, which is fine. Our hero moves forward until he finds something that leaves him surprised. He questions the fact that she said it was safe there since he finds a bunch of dead people everywhere. Then the other girl tells him that that statue wasn't there before. Bella realizes that one of those people is alive. She runs to help while the other girl moves ahead. It seems there was a huge massacre there, and the guy with difficulties says that she is coming down. Dai Li asks who. Desperate, he asks them not to make noise or they will wake the statue. Suddenly, in the middle, the statue lifts its head and says that enough is enough with all the noise. With its eyes, it fires a beam of energy toward the group. The butler puts his hand in front, protecting his lady. Then he pulls the girl and throws her back while blocking that powerful attack. The shockwave dissipates and everything flies through the air. The statue continues to emit a beam for a while, but then it closes its eyes again, and to everyone's surprise, it lowers its head again between its arms. Roy questions if only the lady is hurt, but she says she is fine and worries about his hand. Cyrus realizes that every time they make noise, the statue will attack while Bella heals the young man with the little magic she has. The guy explains that once they cross that line over there, they will be in the death zone, so they should be careful. Our MC asks Bella to protect the rest of the group and the injured, and the girl agrees. Meanwhile, Dai Li orders her butler to take down that statue. Cyrus coordinates with the guy on how they will attack to gain an advantage against the statue. The butler says he is only a rank E and doubts he will be able to succeed. Then he charges at the statue, telling them to find out. At that moment, the statue hears the noise and begins to open its eyes. Then it unleashes a powerful blast, but our MC manages to dodge. He realizes that with that speed, he can evade the statue's attacks, but it is tiring him out. So he decides he needs to finish this quickly. The statue shows no mercy and continues attacking. Debris flies in all directions, sending the rest of the group flying far away. Bella continues to defend the group as best as she can. Cyrus believes the statue only uses sound to hit its enemies, so he throws his swords to a location. He hits something on the other side of the room, making a loud noise. At that moment, the statue turns, telling them to stop making noise, and he realizes he was right and that it turned to go after the sound. Then he quickly grabs his sword. Cyrus finds an opening to attack at that moment. He delivers a powerful strike against the statue, but his weapon shatters. Frightened, he understands that this thing is very tough. At that moment, the butler approaches the statue, leaping onto it. He makes his hands grow gigantic, saying that only he can smash that thing to pieces. But the statue detects the sound immediately and turns to that guy. Then he lands a powerful punch, saying that this is what it gets for attacking his lady. It seems that with that powerful attack, he managed to crack the statue's head, and he is surprised that it is so hard, and even his most powerful attack only made a scratch. Then, to his surprise, the statue acts differently now. It grabs the guy by the neck, starting to concentrate its beam towards him. Our hero jumps onto it, telling it to eat his hammer, but it seems there is something strange on the back of that statue's neck, and he is caught off guard as it concentrates the energy. He notices there is another eye on the back of its head. Cyrus manages to dodge just in time from that attack, but his hammer is shattered. Meanwhile, on the other side, it fires the beam at the butler, who defends himself as best as he can. Our MC cannot believe it has another eye on the back of its neck. Roy is using everything he has to hold back those powerful beams. Dai is worried about her butler and heads in his direction, while Bella tells her not to go because it's dangerous. The statue seems to notice the girl, which leaves her butler desperate. He shouts for his lady not to go over there as the statue shoots at her. Just in time, Bella manages to pull the girl back and gets her out of the way. That guy uses his powerful hands to cover the statue's eyes. He shouts for our young man to knock that statue to the ground. Then he exerts tremendous force to change the position of its head. Our hero jumps at the statue to help, and he realizes, upon touching it, that it is hot. Strangely, the statue seems to have become shy, and it makes a spinning motion, throwing both of them away. And it definitely became a bit shy from that. Cyrus notices there is something more going on. It closes its arms, trying to protect its body, and then it defends its body with its arms. Roy says he gave it his all and still only managed a small crack. He realizes he won't be able to attack anymore because his hand is wrecked. As he tries to get up, he also notices that his arm is broken. Then the statue turns to him due to the noise he made, and he realizes he has no choice but to dodge. He tries to get up, but his legs are trembling. The poor butler thought he used too much force for those attacks, but our hero suddenly appears in front of him and excitedly says he will stop it with his own hands. The guy becomes furious, questioning if he is an idiot for trying to do this with clean hands, saying that his body won't hold up, but the statue doesn't care and starts to concentrate the lightning again. Our guy is faster and jumps over her in those compromising parts. At that moment, the statue reacts, losing control of the attack. Cyrus succeeds in his attack and manages to make her hit only the ceiling. Then he notices that his suspicions were correct, and that she is sensitive to touch. Bella feels a bit embarrassed while the other girl only realizes that he managed to dodge the attack. Roy questions what he is doing after all, but our hero shouts asking what he is waiting for and tells him to get out of there so he doesn't get hurt. The guy runs away while our boy remains clinging to those huge things. Still very red, the statue tries to react by shooting, but our MC is smarter and invests once again in his secret attack. Once again, that thing loses control, shooting in all directions. She puts her hands on her head, unable to maintain control. Dai says that his fighting style is very unique and asks if he has always fought like this, but Bella says no. At that moment, her butler manages to reach the safe zone, and he responds to his lady saying that it was nothing serious, but that he underestimated that statue. He adds that Cyrus is in danger just as our hero realizes that she is looking at him. Then she fires and only misses because the boy is quick and moved out of the way. Now he charges again, attacking but in a different area. Our boy seems to have many secret attacks. She tries to shoot a little behind where he had charged, but he dodges again. Cyrus mocks the statue, saying that she won't hit him with those half-hearted attacks. Everyone feels embarrassed but acknowledges that our powerful warrior is at an advantage in that fight. He draws the statue's attention and delivers a slap to her sensitive area, telling her to focus on her fight. It seems that the statue is being gradually defeated. Roy feels super embarrassed but thinks it's an incredible way to fight. The group talks and discovers that the butler has several broken bones. Bella offers to heal the guy since those fractures can be quite dangerous, but she explains that it is just a temporary treatment, so she asks him to take off his shirt. Then when the guy opens his shirt, she sees something quite different there, and she feels surprised and shy when she realizes it was a woman. She asks what it was, and Bella tries to disguise it, saying it's nothing. Dai asks if Cyrus could defeat the statue. The maid says that her attack and defense are stronger than an average rank S, and yet she still couldn't succeed. Roy realizes that he can't deal damage to the statue but can at least delay her, and he is dominating the fight. He believes it to be a power above rank S while our hero mocks her, saying that her lightning is quite slow. Maybe it's because her eyes are tightly shut. Again, the statue takes a defensive stance, and our hero observes because he didn't expect something like this. It seems that the statue is avoiding looking directly at him. Cyrus thinks that the statue is like a cute woman who is shy and closes her eyes. Then he advances again, noticing that this time she has completely exposed her weaknesses. The statue doesn't even try to defend herself. She just hugs to protect her own body. He thinks that no one must have ever touched her like this before. Suddenly, the statue changes strategy and lands a kick to the boy's stomach. Bella becomes worried that the captain took a hit and says she will join the fight. After taking the hit, our MC holds onto the statue's feet, and it seems she has a very sensitive little foot too. The maid holds Bella back, telling her not to go there or she will get in the way of Cyrus's fight, and she tells her to take a good look. She explains that it wasn't the statue that kicked him, but rather he who clung to the statue's foot. He tells her to use her foot to feel his body, and the sincere beats of his heart. Cyrus tries to hold on but ends up slipping away. The woman curls up while shooting lightning at him again, but misses. The group watches from afar that totally unique battle. Rowan notices that the lightning is getting weaker now. Cyrus says that her lightning is now weak, and that even if it hits, he won't die. She again takes a different action, and grabs her boy with her hands. Then she gets very close to him and opens her eyes full of energy. The maid realizes that the statue has come very close to try to amplify the attack, but our MC retaliates with just one finger. He holds her chin as he leans closer to her face, while she seems to become desperate about it. At that moment, Cyrus decides to use her special ability, and then the two enter a different kind of fight. While our MC locks his gaze on her, the group is somewhat shocked and embarrassed by this situation.
Our video ends here. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, bye bye.